sweeping the world all over. It's the infectious spread of the virus. Look at Asian, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia. To name but few, my God, we are on top position for wrong reason COVID-19 infections. Ladies and gentlemen, Filipinos are generally not listening and enforcement is mild in comparison. It is my humble opinion that we should, besides supplying PPE to frontliners, providing healthcare to the community, supporting the environment, providing food, so on and on. We must spread the word and spread it well and stop and break the chain of infections. Stay at home, social distancing, wear masks, face shield, wash your hands. It is well to keep providing food and all other essential to the people. But our infection rate keep escalating and people are dying. But then we ask ourselves, if they stay at home, do they survive? No job, no food? Then let us all address the current food deficiency and status by organizing projects and encourage and teach the concept of being self-sufficient, such as growing cash crops, providing the resources, such as seeds, etc. Adults may find it difficult to accept the current status as they equally devastated. Then let us start with children. Make it fun and meaningful for all. Working a family, sharing and caring, and this would actually help reduce the stress and boredoms and positively impact psychologically the well-being of all. And last but not the least, stay resilient in these turbulent times. And please join me and pray. As we know that God will never abandon us, let's continue to play our role individually and collectively in the ongoing community services and think deeply the simple task of making effective and efficient contribution to society at large. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Ermita, Manila, I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for joining today's webinar. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Chairperson PP Dali Cater. Before we begin with the message from the Governor, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of our immediate past District Governor Liza Elorde and District Governor-elect Robert Coa, who are both in the call, in the webinar with us. Also, the EXICOM members headed by District Secretary Kat Aguilar. Welcome and good morning. Thank you for attending and joining us in this morning's webinar. Now, I would like to have a message from our District Governor, Gov. Odi Tariela. Over to you, Gov.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this seminar. Thank you to our host, MC Casio. To our distinguished guests, my colleagues from the Council of Governors, immediate past District Governor Liza Elorde, and District Governor-elect Robert Coa, to my transformational presidents and team, members of my executive committee led by District Secretary Kat Aguilar, of course to our Senior Deputy Governor for Programs, Edwin Seymour Chu. Yeah, so to our host club, the Rotary Club of Ermita, and to our host for today, Assistant Governor Michelle M. Casio, Transformational President Dexter Ortega and Rotarian Mark, and our technical Senior Deputy Governor Noel Bilardo, district officers, fellow Rotarians, friends of Rotary, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Live well, serve well. Community service amidst the pandemic. A timely topic indeed in these challenging times. I am also interested to learn from our distinguished guest, who will be speaking on mental health in times of COVID-19, by Dr. Eric Tayag, Children's Protection from the Pandemic by Dr. Naomi LICUANAN, Proper Nutrition in Fight Against COVID-19 by Great President FELY Velandria, and Urban Gardening and BALIK Probinsya by GERALD GLEN PANGANIBAN. We have a powerhouse today, and I'm proud to say that 3 of our esteemed speakers are Rotarians of our district. Assistant Secretary from the Department of Health and former spokesperson, Eric Tayag, continues to make waves in social media, not only because he is a DOH Assistant Secretary, but because of his dance moves, Gangnam Style. He is very visible nowadays because he is involved in public issues and now the COVID-19. A familiar figure in Philippine television, in social media, he advises us to stay home, to cooperate, to diminish the spread of virus. Dr. Naomi LICUANAN, former medical officer at East Avenue Medical Center, former pediatrician at GAT Andres Bonifacio Memorial Medical Center, and consultant at Kalalang in their numerous community projects, notwithstanding the FELY Brandria worked for 43 years as a nutritionist dietitian at the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, Department of Science and Technology. She holds a postgraduate diploma on food resources related to community development under a Colombo Plan scholarship from Queen Elizabeth College in London, University of London. GERALD GLEN Panganiban is an associate director at the Bureau of Plant Industry, assistant chief of the National Plant Quarantine Service Division, and plant quarantine officer. He finished his bachelor's degree on agribusiness management at University of the Philippines and his master and PhD in public management, agricultural development at Korea University. Community service is one of the avenues service which encourages Rotarians to offer service to their communities. It relates to the activities that Rotarians undertake to improve the quality of life in their communities. Every community has a different needs and the different opportunities for service. Some may need school assistance for their children, like tablets, for their online schooling. Teens may need a gymnasium, a playground for children, a greenhouse for the elderly, or food pantries to end hunger. The help we can provide our community to serve is countless. Particular emphasis is given to helping children, needy families, the aged, and the handicapped, and the most in need of assistance. Every Rotary Club and every Rotarian assume a responsibility to find ways to improve the quality of life for those in their communities and to serve the public interest. We just have to make sure that the help we are extending are relevant to the community, serve as a learning experience for Rotarians, identify a Rotary Club's role in the community, determine how Rotarians can help with the resources at hand, and promote club community service projects. In this time of the pandemic, let us encourage and foster the ideals of service to a personal, business, and community life of every Rotarian to exemplify service above self. So let us live well, serve well, and do community service amidst the pandemic. So thank you at salamat sa inyong pakikinig. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our District Governor Odi Teriela, for our good message this morning. Before we move on to the webinar and the overview, I'd like to mention that all Q&A are deferred at the end of the presentation. So please feel free, those 132 of you in the webinar now, you can type your questions in the Q&A box or in the chat box, and our Q&A facilitator will handle it at the end of all the presentation. This is to be able to manage the sessions. And now, for the overview of the webinar, I'd like to hand it over to DCC Dal Cada. Over to you, Ma'am Dal.
Thank you, pretty AGMC. Allow me to greet again our District Governor, Gov. Odi, all our transformational officers and presidents, fellow Rotarians, and guests. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Our theme for this webinar is Live Well, Serve Well, Community Service Amidst the Pandemic. The theme speaks very well of the new normal as an aftermath of the already more than 6 months old COVID-19 pandemic. How do we serve when most of us are not allowed to go out and we have to abide by the guidance on social distancing? How do we protect ourselves so we can continue serving? These are some of the questions that will be given light as we go through today's webinar. We have invited our very own respective guest speakers today who will be talking about mental health, children protection, proper nutrition to combat COVID-19. Specifically, our first speaker will be talking about mental health in times of COVID-19. This is indeed a timely topic as everyone must be mentally prepared or mentally healthy to be able to think and act properly as the world continues to battle with the virus. Our second speaker delved on the topic children protection from the pandemic. Our young generation's vulnerability to COVID-19 is one thing that we should not be ignored and must be given utmost attention. This topic, I'm sure, will interest most of us here as we need information on how we can keep our younger generation healthy and virus-free amidst the fast-growing number of infected individuals in our country. Of course, one of our best defense during the pandemic is keeping ourselves healthy and strengthening our immunity system. Our third speaker will be enlightening us on the topic so we could have ample information on what's and why's will be the focus of our fourth president. This is about urban agriculture and BALIK probinsya. Gardening has recently posted about their gardening activities and their healthy harvests, which are noticed and appreciated by others. This is a very practical activity division during the pandemic due to a limited social mobility, giving everyone ample time to just stay home, and gardening will be a great idea to spending time productively. Before we start the ball rolling, I think it is best if we have our pen and notebook, not just to take down important notes, but to prepare our questions ready. After our last speaker delivers his talk. Again, maraming salamat po. Back to you, Pretty MC.
Thank you, DCC Dali. For the introduction of our first guest speaker, I'd like to hand over to PP Eugene Tan.
Okay. A pleasant morning, my fellow Rotarians and guests. It is with great honor that I introduce our first speaker for today. He is a well-respected fellow, both in Rotary and in government service. In Rotary, he served as club president of Rcem Manila 101 for 2 consecutive Rotary years, and presently serves as District 3810 Assistant Governor, his second time to be AG. As a doctor, he is a past president of the Philippine Foundation for Vaccination, or PFV. He is also the past president of the Philippine Society of Microbiology and Infectious Disease, the PSMID. He is also the former Director 4 of the Epidemiology Bureau and former spokesperson of the Department of Health. He is currently the Data Privacy Officer and Director 4 for Knowledge Management and Information Technology Service of the Department of Health. My Rotary family and friends, let us welcome and listen to Enrique Doc Eric Tayag.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the introduction, Eugene. Magandang umaga. Kumusta po kayo? Okay, sabayan niyo po ako. Umpisahan natin ang umagang to. Magbigay po tayo ng isang malaking pagngiti. Ganito po, labas ang ngipin. Lahat po, labas ang ngipin. Oops! Baka nakalimutang mag-toothbrush. Isang dahilan yan para sa ating stress ngayong umaga. O baka naman nakalimutan yung makuha ang temperature nyo. Okay, kunin natin yung temperature natin. Meron ba kayong ganitong gamit? O kaya pag lumabas kayo ng bahay and you go to establishments, karaniwan na ang temperature check. At syempre, bago kayo lumabas ng bahay, natatakot kayo. Hanapin nyo ang inyong mask. Hinahanap nyo. Tapos para malaman nyo na wala na pa kayong supply ng mask. Nakaka-stress din yan. Lalo na kung naubusan kayo ng sanitizer. O di lang kaya nakalimutan nyo na ang inyong face shield ay kailangan pala sa public transport. In these times of the COVID-19 pandemic, many of us will experience stress. Normal ba yon, you will ask? How can I get over my stress? Ito na po ang aking presentation. Today, I'll be talking about mental health in the times of COVID-19. Mahigit 234,000 kaso na ang nai-report ng Kagawan ng Kalusugan. Yan ay ayon sa kanyang pagre-report kahapon. Inaasahan natin na tataas pa yan. Kanina sinabi ko na maraming pang-araw-araw nating ginagawa ang nagbibigay ng stress sa akin. But it's okay not to be okay. Thumbs up tayo if you believe that. It's okay not to be okay. Ayon sa WHO, normal naman that we feel fearful and anxious during this time. When we talk about how we feel of this pandemic, yun ay nakakabawas sa ating stress. So getting worried, it's okay. Getting scared, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. But lahat tayo ay merong tinatawag nating responsibilidad so that we can protect our health, and that includes our mental health. Please remember, there is no health without mental health. Siguro araw-araw nakatuto kayo sa news. Ako mismo napapansin ko sa ating Viber group, talagang marami ang nagbibigay ng impormasyon at sana hindi yun fake news. Subalit sinasabi ng World Health Organization that we should choose a limited time each day when we will check COVID-19 updates. They found out that constantly listening to media coverage about COVID-19 can make us more anxious and upset. So, hinay-hinay lang when we get this information. And of course, wag ho kayong magsawang makinig if we just tell you that always clean your hands, cough or sneeze in your bent elbow, better wear a mask, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, limit social gathering, practice physical distancing, that's more than 1 meter apart, avoid close contacts and anyone who is sick, and clean and disinfect frequently touch objects and surfaces. Dapat sa panahon ngayon, ito po ay routine. Hindi na po dapat ito pinaalala sa atin. Pag pinaalala sa atin po yan, may dagdag stress po yan. Pero kung magiging routine, wala nang stress. People diagnosed with COVID-19 deserve compassionate care. Do you have someone in your household who got sick? Maybe it's you. If it's you, you need compassionate care. Okay? And if it's others, we take care of them. We help them stay connected to us and to other loved ones by any means of communication that's available to us. Pwedeng Facebook, pwedeng tawag sa telepono, pwedeng virtual calls. Yan po ay magagawa natin. At syempre, ang pag-ating dadalamhati to someone we lost. I can share you many stories of those who died from COVID, never spoke to a family member again once they reached the hospital, and they didn't even realize that it will be their last day with us. And there are many more stories shared, and we feel the loss of everyone. And we should offer prayers so that those we love can be those who will be resting in peace. Get your ball pens and paper. Okay. So meron naman kayong ball pen or paper. Okay. Meron po 8 kasi rito na parang nasa lobo. Okay. Pag ito po ay inyong nararamdaman ngayon, Isasama niyo po yan sa listahan at mamaya po ay i-interpret po natin yan. Una, okay. Do you feel hopeless? Nawawalan na ba kayo ng pag-asa? So kung nawawalan kayo ng pag-asa, isulat niyo po yan. Pangalawa, are you losing interest? Parang wala na kayong ganang lumabas, gumawa sa bahay, makipag-usap, makitungo sa ibang tao. Pangatlo, ayaw nyo pang gumising o kaya maigsi yung tulog nyo. Ang normal kasi 6 hanggang 8 oras. So tulog kayo ng tulog. Baka nakalimutan nyo, webinar natin ngayon. So sobrang tulog po yan. O kaya konti lang yung tulog. Pang-apat, napansin nyo ba na halos hindi na kayo kumakain? O di naman, yung kabaliktaran, kain kayo ng kain. Ayun, padala kayo ng padala sa mga nagdi-deliver ng pagkain, mayat maya. Panlima, mabilis ba kayong mapagod? Pang-anim, pakiramdam nyo lahat ng gusto nyong gawin ay failure. Kahit na sinasabi ng iba na maganda yung ginawa, failure pa rin yung tingin. Pampito, nahihirapan kayong mag-concentrate. Difficulty concentrating. At pangwalo, you have suicidal thoughts. So ilista nyo po dyan, alin sa 8 yan, ang meron po kayo, at mamaya malalaman nyo kung ano po meron. Kung kayo po ay frontliner o kaya may kasamang frontliner sa bahay, kailangan ho nating maintindihan na kung tayo ay stress, mas stress po sila. At ba't hindi sila magiging stress? Katulad ko, I work from home. Stress ako sapagkat kung ako'y lalabas, mabuti na lang work from home ako, matatakot ako. Kasama ko kasi ang mami ko. She's 87 years old. At kilala niyo naman ang mami ko. Siya yung past president nila TAYAG. Pakikita ko po sa inyo. Okay? Mamaya pakikita ko po siya sa inyo. Okay? At syempre, ang mga frontliner responders ay maaalis ang stress nila kung magandang pamamalakad sa pinapasukan nila. Halimbawa, may work rotation, hindi sila parating naka-duty. Meron silang mental health services na ma-access. Tapos nabibigyan sila ng tamang pahinga, exercise, masustansyang pagkain, at ang pakikipag-usap sa kanilang minamahal. Yung iba namang frontline at essential workers, ganun din. Hindi lamang yung mga nasa ospital. Kung yon ay ating kikilalanin, maintindihan natin kung bakit maraming tao ang mas stress pa sa atin. Bukod dito sa mga frontliners, isipin nyo yung mga bata, akala no, hindi sila nai-stress. Marami sa kanila nai-stress na. Pansinin nyo sila. At mamaya, yung sunod na magsasalita po, malalaman nyo kung ano po nangyayari sa mga bata. Alam nyo, maraming paraan para matanggal ang stress. Sabi ng WHO, we can still find purpose in our lives. When we are faced with a difficult situation, focus on what you can change, accept matters that are beyond your control, and always strive to live by your values. Staying connected when you are stuck at home is very important. Mahirap hong naiiwan sa bahay ng isa. Mahirap hong walang kausap at ang kaharap lang ay Netflix. Mahirap hong hindi kayo nabibisita o hindi kayo nakabibisita. Mahirap po ang mag-isa. yan po ay makakadagdag sa stress. Kaya nga itong nakikita nyo sa slide, makakatulong po iyan sa inyo. Bago po tayo tumulong sa iba, asikasuhin po muna natin ang ating mga sarili. At ngayon po, sundan nyo po ako. Sundan nyo po ako. Okay. Ayan, sasama ko mami ko. Mang, halika. Okay. Say hi to them.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello,
Ganito po ang
everybody.
gagawin natin. Umupo po tayo ng mahusay. Pikit po yung ating mga mata. Okay. Ihinga po tayo ng malalim. 5 ang bilang sa inhale. 6 na bilang sa pause. 7 bilang sa exhale. Ready na ba kayo? Okay, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ulitin natin. Tandaan nyo po yung 5, 6, 7. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Uulitin po natin yan hanggang makabuo tayo ng 1 hanggang 2 minuto. Yan po ay makakatulong sa atin. At gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, kung meron ho tayong usapin sa mental health, meron po tayong matatawagan. Tingnan nyo po dyan sa slide sa bandang kanan. Yan po ang 0917-899-USAP or 8727 or 899-USAP 8727. Kunin nyo po ang numerong yan. At para po sa pagwawakas, doon sa 8, sabi ko ay isulat nyo po, ito po yon ang ibig sabihin. Pag umabot po sa 5 ang inyong naisulat, yan po ay mangangailangan ng pagtawag dito sa numerong binigay ko. Tandaan nyo po, pag 5 ang napili nyo po doon sa 8 na sinabi kong isulat nyo sa papel, yan po ay senyales na kailangan tumawag po kayo sa helpline. Tandaan nyo po yan. Diyan po nagwawakas ang unang yugto ng aking presentation. At ito naman po sapagkat binigyan akong pagkakataon na magbigay ng isa pa para sa back-to-back. Okay. At sa pangalawang aking presentation, ito naman po ay may kinalaman sa tinatawag nating interim guidelines for implementing service projects. Nakikita niyo ho ba yung screen?
Wala pa po.
Hindi pa
Doc.
po, hindi pa, Doc.
Wala pa?
Share
Okay.
nyo po.
Ayan, nakikita na?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Maiksi lang to. Sapagkat marami ang magtatanong po sa inyo, paano ako magkakaroon ng service projects? Nakaka-stress yan. Kaya kanina 5 yung nasagot ko eh. Kasi nakaka-stress yung service projects. Ito po. Una, safety first. Older persons, persons with disabilities, those with pre-existing chronic medical conditions, shall remain at home during lockdowns. Exempted na po kayo. Okay. Those who are unwell, sick, or had close contact with known suspect, probable or confirmed case, or currently under quarantine, waiting for test results, or in home isolation for mild disease, shall not join unless you fully recovered. Members shall always wear masks, face shields for every service gathering, and shall observe proper hygiene such as hand washing, paggamit ng disinfectants, proper mask disposal. Physical distancing should be properly observed, and it is recommended that physical distancing cues are placed in designated areas. So kung talagang kayo'y lalabas, kailangan lagyan nyo ng distancing cues para alam nyo kung saan po kayo tatayo. Okay. Limit the number of projects of areas of focus. Halimbawa, less number of project means less exposure, means less chances of getting sick. Make each project relevant to as many areas of focus to compensate for the fewer projects, but you will still earn multiple merits for each project. Think, may pandemic pa tayo. Space out projects at least 2 weeks apart. Distribute fairly member participation by limiting each member to at least 2 projects and at least 4 weeks apart. Partner with Rotary Community Corps, Rotaracts, other clubs. Substitute projects in virtual seminars in areas of focus. And with that, you can safely and very well do your service projects. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Stay safe, everyone, and always live a stress-free life. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Doc Eric, our Assistant Governor for Manila A. Again, to those that just joined, we now have 162 participants. All your Q&A will be entertained after all the speakers. So we still have 3 more speakers after Doc Eric. Doc Eric, salamat ng marami for your mental health in times of COVID. It's okay not to be okay. So for those Korean novela fans, maganda pong pelikula, Netflix series po iyon. We'd like to hand
Alam
you
mo,
over.
MC, mami ko ang mahilig. Ito, mami ko mahilig.
So it's okay not to be okay. So we need to watch over our mental health. So that's a good ano. So we'd like to
Maraming salamat.
Not to be okay. Nanonood.
So we'd like to present the certificate of appreciation to past President Dr. Eric Tayag from RC Manila 101 for your invaluable support and recognition, sharing your time and expertise, being our guest of honor and speaker during the community service seminar with topic on mental health in times of COVID-19. Giving the full meaning of the principal ideals of Rotary International motto, service above self, and its theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities. Given this 5th day of September 2020 via Zoom seminar hosted by Rotary Club of Ermita, Manila. Signed, IPP Delegator, Community Service Chair, SDG Edwin Chu, our Senior Deputy Governor for Programs, our District Governor Leody Teriela, and our District Secretary Catherine Aguilar. Thank you so much, Doc Eric.
Thank you, MC. And remember, when you smile, show your teeth.
Yes, we'll remember that, Doc Eric. It's okay not to be okay. Now, let's move on. I think you're on schedule. Before we begin to our next speaker, we'd like to hand it over to our past president, Jeremiah Belhica, to introduce our next speaker. Over to you, PP Jeremiah.
Yeah, can I request that my video be allowed to be open?
Maybe ko ba si PP Jeremiah?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the video is not being allowed by the host to be open. So I would just proceed, perhaps. Um,
Pwede na po. You try. Can you please try? PP Jeremiah, you're now a co-host.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It is but a privilege for me to do this presentation for a dear friend, a person that I admire so much, a former classmate of mine. Dr. Naomi LICUANAN is a doctor of medicine with a specialty in pediatrics. She had her pediatric residency training at the East Avenue Medical Center, where she was the chief president of for research. At present, she is the chairman of the Quality Assurance Committee of one of the premier hospitals in our capital city, Gat Andres Bonifacio Memorial Medical Center. She is also connected with Kalalang General Hospital as the house pediatrician. Now, to many of us, it is not a secret that she is a very active part of our district. She joined Rotary International District 3810 on 2014 as a member of Rotary Club Pasay Centro and was voted as the best class president. She has initiated various commendable projects focusing on the maternal and child care such as breastfeeding, breast milk letting, and kangaroo mother care. And at the end of her term, she was awarded as our overall most outstanding rookie club president and our overall most outstanding rookie club of the year for her exceptional leadership indeed and unique insights. She also bagged the most coveted Best in Presentation of Mid-Year Report Award in Rotary Year 2014-2015 Best Class Year. The following year, she was appointed as AG to PDG Obit Pagdanganan. As a trailblazer and an innovator for community service, CP Naomi chartered her own club and became the charter president of Rotary Club of Padre Burgos. At the end of her term, she again bagged the Platinum Most Outstanding Rookie President and Platinum Most Outstanding Rookie Club of the Year award. Highlights of her term were children advocacies for homeless street children of Rizal Park and the psychological tour of Bakwit and displaced children of war-torn Marawi in cooperation with the AFP through Team Tabak. At present, she undauntedly faces and proactively encourages everyone to rise above the COVID pandemic challenge. June this year, she also launched the Clean Hands Save Lives project when she initiated the installation of the hand washing station at the Gat Andres Bonifacio Memorial Medical Center. Dr. Naomi also called upon fellow Rotarians to support this project and pledges the installation of hand washing stations to be set up in at least 4 more public hospitals in the city of Manila. This Rotary year, she was appointed Deputy Chairman for Community Service Committee, and she is a correspondent to the Governor's Monthly letter. But more than that, I would just want to say that CP Naomi is a dear friend and a classmate of mine during my best class president year. And not only that, she is also my comadre for my daughter because I do believe that she is one of the most genuine public servant that we have in our club, in our district. With this, I would want to present to you our speaker, CP Dr. Naomi LICUANAN.
Thank you very much, compadre, for the very kind introduction. Hindi ko inaasahan ikaw mag-i-introduce, compadre. Kaya, nako, isang karangalan para ma-introduce na isang Director General of the favorite of President Duterte, the ARTA, Anti-Red Tape Authority. Compadre, maraming salamat sa introduction. Kumusta lang kay Comadre Cha sa ating napakagandang baby. District Governor Auditoriala, Transformational Presidents, fellow Rotarians and friends, good morning. The year 2020 has been very challenging for all of us. The world today is united in a common struggle against an invisible enemy. It has been 6 months since the country and the world started to witness this most catastrophic pandemic in our lifetime. Ako personally, naramdaman ko tong pandemic na to last March 16, 2020. Nung nilabas ni President Duterte yung announcement, there's going to be ECQ, the Enhanced Community Quarantine. Suddenly, all of us are confined to home. So, we as adults, syempre hirap na hirap din tayo, no? Hirap tayong isipin bakit anong nangyari. What more, yung iba, yung mga hindi pa nakakaintindi. Napakaganda ng paliwanag ni Dr. Eric Tayag. Napakaganda talaga. May exercise pa, kaya marami talaga tayong natutunan about mental health during this time of pandemic. But ngayon, ang priority kasi ngayon ng mundo flattening the curve, looking for treatment, waiting for the vaccines. Minsan may nalilimutan tayo Meron nakikinig sa atin. Habang tayo alalang-alala sa pag-iisip, ano mangyayari bukas? Matatanggal ba ako sa trabaho? Saan kukuha ng pagkain sa susunod? While all of us are anxiously talking about COVID-19, others are intently listening. They are the hidden victims, the children. The Lancet Global Health July 2020 issue has presented a startling evidence on the potential rise on maternal and infant mortality in low and middle income countries if essential services continue to be disrupted as a result of COVID-19. Isipin nyo, sa matagal na panahon, kinakapos na tayo, pumasok pa si COVID-19, hindi naman ganun kalakas ang ating health system. Kaya dahil sa paghinto ng mga programang ito, project na 1.2 million deaths in 118 countries ang pwedeng mamatay sa mga susunod na taon. The good thing though, children and adolescents have been far less affected by COVID-19. Hindi sila yung talagang tinatamaan. Kung meron man, tamaan man sila, hindi naman ganun kagrabe. Ang symptoms have always been mild. Instead, COVID-19 severely affects the elderly and the chronically ill. Pag sinabi niyong chronically ill, sila yung may high blood, diabetes, may hika, may mga COPD, yung mga naninigarilyo, sila yung mga tinatamaan. Itong graph na to shows cases by demographics last August. This August lang to, 2020, by the Department of Health. Pinapakita rito sa graph kung gaano kababa ang incidence ng cases ng COVID-19 among 0 to 19 years old. Kumpara sa mga ibang age group, like yung 20 hanggang 79. Paano naman ba mag-diagnose? How do we make a diagnosis of COVID-19 in children? Pareho ba to sa matanda? Ang Philippine Pediatric Society po ay naglabas ng isang algorithm kung paano tiyakin kung ang bata ay may COVID-19. Tinatawag namin itong algorithm sa screening, classification, and management of pediatric patients suspected of COVID-19. Ang bawat ospital po may triage. Yung triage, ito po yung nagtatanong sa labas ng ospital, may mesa doon, may isang nurse, isang nursing aide, isang doktor. Titignan nila kung, i-classify nila kung COVID nga o hindi. Paano? Titignan nila yung mga sintomas. Sinasabi na suspected na may COVID kung there's an acute onset of fever and cough or an acute onset of 3 or more of the following symptoms. Ano yung mga sintomas? Basta lahat ng may lagnat. Suspect, no? So kung may lagnat, may ubo, nanghihina, altered mental status, yung parang nalilito, masakit ang ulo, masakit ang katawan, masakit ang lalamunan, nahihirapang huminga, sumusuka, nagtatae. Tatlo, kahit aling tatlo dito. Plus, any of the following. Kung may exposure ba sa mga tao na mayroong suspected na COVID-19, kung sa bahay ba o may pinuntahan. Siya ba ay na tumitira sa lugar na may local transmission? Yung local transmission, yun po yung mga community na kinawarantin. Kung naalala nyo, may mga barangay ho dyan, kamukha yung barangay namin, may local transmission doon, sa barangay 28 sa Caloocan. Kinarantin kami ng mga 5 araw. Hindi pwedeng lumabas, pumasok ang sino man. Maliban lamang kung may importanteng lakad. So, within the last 14 days. Isa pang basihan, maliban sa exposure evaluation, ay clinical evaluation. Yung bang sintomas ng bata there is rapid progression of symptoms? Mabilis bang lumala? Pag mabilis lumala, ibig sabihin, sinisipon lang kanina, nahirapan ng huminga, nangingitim na. Ay, worsening symptoms nga yun. Na ginamot mo na, hindi kagad gumaling na kamukha ng standard treatment. Yun yung rapid progression of symptoms. Sa laboratory evaluation naman, we classified them as COVID-19 suspect as case asymptomatic. Sabi namin, asymptomatic ba siya? Mild, moderate, o severe, o critical. Only those classified as moderate, severe, or critical gets admitted to isolation room or critical care, COVID-19. So, kung ikaw naman ay asymptomatic, wala namang nararamdaman, o mild lang, may lagnat, may ubo, pero hindi man nahihirapang huminga, hindi man kino-confine. Sa bahay lang, ginagamot. Yan. Ngayon, yung World Health Organization, on the other hand, released a public health surveillance for interim guidelines last August 7, 2020. So, nag-classify din sila. Ang classification, suspected, probable, or confirmed. Sinasabi na ang bata ay suspected na may COVID-19 kung na-meet niya yung clinical criteria, yung sinabi ko kanina, na may lagnat, ubo, or any of the 3 symptoms. Kung meron siyang, yung sinabi ko kanina, yung may lagnat, sipon, ubo, nahirapang huminga, sumuka, nagtae, o naliliyo, o nagkumbulsyon. No? Sinasabi naman natin probable kung if a patient meets the clinical criteria and is a contact of a probable or confirmed case as supported by an X-ray and ultrasound. So, bawa nahirapang huminga yung bata, in X-ray mo. Sa X-ray, meron kaming basihan na masasabi namin kung pangit yung X-ray. Nakita namin sa X-ray, uy, ang dami opacity. Tapos rounded ang morphology, pati in distribution. We can tell if this is a severe case of pneumonia and a COVID-19 suspect. Or an ultrasound, we can do an ultrasound para malaman namin kung may tubig ba ito o may consolidation. Sa X-ray pa lang malalaman na namin kung pangit talaga. Isa pa na basehan ng probable, kung ang tao ay hindi makaamoy. Sabi ng bata, hindi ko maamoy yan, mama. O kaya, wala naman lasa. Ang tako-tako ng dating bata na yun. Tapos sabi niya, hindi na siya nakakalasa, hindi na niya nalalasahan yung pagkain. Although mahirap ma-elicit yun sa mas maliliit na bata. Pero sa mga adolescent, madali siyang ma-detect. Or, unexplained death, bigla ang pagkamatay ng tao na wala namang respiratory distress, in respiratory distress, pero walang basihan ng kanyang death. So, pag biglang dumating sa'yo, DOA, wala namang sinabing, yan, 1 linggo na yun nagtatae or ganyan. Nahihirapang huminga, biglaan lang, and it is unexplained, probable na yun. Now, when do we say that a child has a confirmed case of COVID-19? We say that the child is a confirmed case of COVID-19 if there is a laboratory confirmation. Ano yung mga laboratory confirmation? So, kung na-swab siya, kung na-swab siya sa hospital, yun ang ating gold standard talaga. Irrespective of clinical signs and symptoms. Kahit walang sintomas. Pero yung madalang yan Hindi ka naman sinuswab, diba? Pag wala ka namang sakit. So, minsan, sinuswab lang yung mga sa amin, sa ospital, sinuswab ang mga bata, lalo yung mga bagong panganak, kung yung nanay nila, nung buntis, o bagong manganak, ay naswab at nakitang positive. So, yung mga newborn, sinuswab din namin para malaman namin kung pati yung pinanganak na bata ay may COVID-19 din. Pero maganda naman ito, so far, children and adolescents have been far less affected by COVID-19 and their symptoms are almost always been mild. Pero alam niyo, kahit na mga batang ito hindi man grabe mag-present ng COVID-19, ang sabi sa pag-aaral, mas heavy ang viral load na dala-dala ng bata. Mas nakakahawa ang bata sa matatanda na magdala ng virus na COVID-19. Mas marami yung laman na nakukuha nila, mas mabigat yung viral load. No? At sabi naman ng the Philippine Pediatric Society says that the true incidence of COVID-19 in children are underestimated. This is because of lack of widespread testing and the prioritization of testing for adults with severe illness. Di ba? Nang nakapila lang naman sa mga pila ng unswabbing, panay adult eh. Kaya majority of patients who are swabbed are adults. And there are less number of children hospitalized, kaya konti rin ang natetest sa kanila. Sino naman yung mga gumagrabe na mga bata na tinatamaan ng COVID-19? There are those with underlying medical condition like genetic, neurologic, metabolic, and those less than 1 year of age. Sino pang increased risk sa severe forms of COVID-19 in children? Sila yung mga batang obese, yung mga may hika, yung mga may chronic lung disease, or yung mga immunosuppressed, yung mga ginagamitan ng mga gamot laban sa cancer, yung mga may leukemia, parang kamukha din sa adults. So the risk is higher among patients with immunosuppression. Now let's go to prevention. How do we prevent COVID-19 in children? The Philippine Pediatric Society has released this infographic called 3 W's, tatlong W. Wear, watch, and wash. You tell your child to wear face mask all the time and face shield to cover the nose, mouth, and chin. Pero hindi mang ang mga 2 years old and below, hindi mang daw kinakailangang mag-face mask. Kasi there's a danger na ma-suffocate sila dahil hindi nila kayang tanggalin yun mag-isa, especially kung wala silang kasama walang supervision. The second W is watch. Watch your distance, at least 1 meter or 3 feet away from other people. Diba? So, medyo mahirap yun sa bata kasi mga bata clingy, diba? So, palagi nakadikit sa'yo, sunod sa'yo ng sunod. Kaya maganda, itong mga batang to should always stay home na kayo lang sa loob ng pamilya dahil alam niyo namang you are practicing these preventive measures. The third W is wash. Yan ang gustong-gusto namin mga Rotarians. Wash. Water, sanitation, and hygiene. You wash your hand. Tell them to wash their hands with soap and water. Soap and water ang mas maganda talaga. Kaya lang, in the absence of soap and water, pwede namang gumamit ng 70% alcohol or mga sanitizer na based on alcohol. Ngayon, kami mga pediatrician, ano ba kinatatakot namin mga pediatrician? Sa ngayon, we are scared about falling immunization rates. Dahil sa pandemic, ayaw lumabas sa mga tao, walang gusto magpabakuna. Alam nyo, kahit may pandemic ng COVID-19, hindi ho nagpapahinga yung ibang virus, hindi nagpapahinga si measles, andyan pa rin siya. The polio is still there, the diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus is still there. So, yung mga efforts natin in the past, especially in Rotary, di ba, we are this close to end polio. We have been promoting end polio program every now and then, especially in the hospital. We would like to have the zero polio campaign. Although last November 2019, there was an outbreak in the Philippines when we saw a case in Manila and in Marawi. Kaya double time. Nagdo-double time na nga kami mga pediatrician para mangampanya na magpa-polio vaccine ng mga bata. Ito naman, binulagan naman tayo nitong January na ng pandemic, hindi makalabas ang mga bata. Hindi rin makapasok ang mga nagbibigay ng mga bakuna dahil
may restriction ng movement, may limitation ng movement, naka-quarantine. No? Kaya yan mga delikadong binabantayan natin ngayon. The missing immunization, falling immunization rates, and school loss, wala nang pasok. No? As health services becomes overwhelmed in caring for a large number of infected patients requiring treatment, the children and pregnant women are less able to access standard care. Punong-puno ng hospital, di ba? So, yung mga hospital, kamukha is in Manila, our Mayor Isko Moreno, has designated each hospital to be a specialty hospital. So, may mga hospital for trauma, may hospital for birthing, may hospital for COVID. Eh, hindi na rin nasunod kasi sobrang dami na ng kaso ng COVID-19. So, we are no longer choosing these patients, and health services are really overwhelmed. Napupuno. Kaya hindi na minsan natatanggihan yung mga ibang pasyente na papalipatin sa birthing center, hindi rin tatanggapin. Kaya minsan, ina-allow na rin namin sa hospital with all the proper protocols. Ngayon, the United Nations Policy Brief on the Impact of COVID-19 in Children, they said that because of the implementation of lockdown, quarantine, restriction of movement, and these surveillance strategies, it has taken a toll. Dahil dyan, nagkaroon na suspinde yung mga services na dati-dati face-to-face. Ano yung mga yon? Yung nutrition programs, yung maternal and newborn care, yung immunization services, reproductive health, and community-based programs. So because of this restriction, most of the programs are no longer rolled over to the community. When you look at the impact of COVID-19 in children, you have direct and indirect effect. We say the direct effect is the direct effect of the virus on the child. Yung direct effect, hindi masyadong, it's not significant. Pero indirect and long-term effect can be catastrophic. Why? Kasi it is long-term. The reduced household income will force poor families to cut back on essential health and food expenditure. The World Vision recently released a report on children being forced by parents to work for help. The reduced access to essential reproductive, maternal, newborn, and child health intervention, such as antenatal and skilled attendance at birth, could lead to a ripple of effect. Dahil dyan, dahil wala na yung mga programang yan, in the next years to come, we will be expecting more teenage pregnancy, teenage parents, and because of suspension of all vaccination campaigns, there is a setting back of the initiative that we did decades ago, like the one we did with end polio. Dati-dati, di ba? We only have 3 countries left for with polio. That's Nigeria, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. But because of the restriction of movement, parang babalik tayo ulit eh. Dahil nawala yung momentum natin. Another thing another disease to watch out for is measles. Because during the COVID-19, this pandemic, limitation of movement, there is measles immunization suspension in at least 23 countries. Imagine that. And if schools remain closed or causing girls to drop out, we should anticipate an increase in teenage pregnancies in the year ahead. The effect of physical distancing measures and movement can also take a toll on children's mental health. Alam niyo naman, socializing is crucial part in growing up. But pandemic has put a stop to it. Now, let me walk you through some tips. Alam ko naman na most of us Rotarians here present are tito, tita, lolo, lola. So what can we do with this pandemic? Anong pwede natin gawin? Especially when we are confined to home. The World Health Organization has released these forms, which are downloadable at www.weforum.org. These are 6 one-page tips to help parents interact constructively with their children during this time of confinement. There is one-on-one time. If you have time, i-download nyo to, no? When you reach home. One-on-one time. Yan, you can set aside time to spend with each child. You can do, this will give you ideas with your baby or toddler, ideas with teenager. Kasi different age group would require different initiative and management. It's not ikdekahon. So the first one is one-on-one time. The second is keeping it positive. Say the behavior you want to see. It's all in the delivery. Get real. The third is structure up. You create a flexible but consistent daily routine. Alam niyo, kahit may pandemic, you have to maintain yung routine. What are routines? Routines yung pagkagising sa umaga, lalaruin mo yung bata, maliligo. There is a routine of taking a bath, taking breakfast, fixing the bed, eating, tapos nap time. Make sure that these routines are strictly enforced. But also teach them about keeping safe distances then and all the 3 U's. The fourth is, these are tips on bad behavior. Medyo, syempre, magtatantrum yung mga bata, nasa loob lang ng bahay, walang pupuntahan, anong gagawin. Minsan nag-aaway-aaway na sila doon. Pati ang parents form that you can use. The fifth is keep calm and manage stress. You are not alone. Take a break. Take a pause. Listen to your kids. And the sixth is how to talk about COVID-19 among children. Ito, ganun din. It should be also age-dependent. Be open and listen. Allow your child to talk freely. Ask them open-ended questions. Be honest. Wag mo siyang sagutin ng mga nalalaman mo lang, baka mamaya mali naman. So you're spreading fake news, no? Be supportive. It is okay not to know the answers. Just be honest. Yan. Next. Yan. Okay. So isa-isahin naman natin. Let me walk you through the different age group. What do we do among infants and toddlers? Most children under age 2, naku, napakasarap nila. Kala mo wala silang nararamdaman. Kala mo hindi nila naiintindihan yung COVID-19 kasi hindi man sila nakakaintindi pa. But they can sense what mommy or daddy is anxious or upset about through body language. Kahit hindi niya naiintindihan yung palabas sa TV, kung mainit ang ulo ni mommy, mainit ang ulo ni daddy, nag-aaway sila, nasa sense ni baby yun. So, anong gagawin naman ng mga parents para hindi naman matatransmit yung kanilang anxiety sa kanilang mga anak? Do not watch television or continually monitor social media or news feeds while holding, feeding, or playing with your infants and toddlers. Pag nagpapadede ka, huwag ka na manood ng palagi ng mga news na nakakatakot. Tapos habang natatakot ka sa palabas, sinasabi mo pa. Although the infant may not understand what you say, but your body language, the baby will recognize it. So remember that. Do not watch television or social media while feeding or playing. Kahit naglalaro lang, no? Tapos keep the routine as best as you can to make them feel safe and secure. Alam niyo mga less than 2, ang gusto lang naman nila, safety and security. For as long as sila ay dumidede, nakakatulog, napapalitan ng diaper, nilalaro, okay na sila doon. Ngayon, because of the anxiety of some parents, minsan nadidisrupt yung routine, pati sila baby, nadidisrupt din yung kanilang routine. So minsan, ang hirap patahanin. Iyak ng iyak. Bakit ganito yung baby? Ayaw matulog. nagkakaroon ng disturbance ng sleep, ang hirap patahanin, minsan nagtatae, minsan sumusuka. Yung pala, na-stress lang yung mga baby sa parents nila dahil na-disrupt yung kanilang routine. Okay. Iba naman sa preschool children. Sa preschool naman, do not watch TV news shows while they are in the room or in listening distance. Halimbawa, nanonood ka ng TV habang nagluluto, nakatama yung bata nandyan. Pinapakita sa TV, naku, patay na, ang dami, patay. Tapos ikaw naman, you are manifesting what you're watching. Sinasabi mo pa, naku, dami namatay. Medyo, although hindi nila, akala mo hindi nila naiintindihan, but they can feel your anxiety, no, and fear. So what do we do among these preschool children? Give them lots of hugs and reassurance. Yung hugs, syempre yakap-yakap yun, di ba? Yung reassurance mo, it's either verbal or physical. No? Pwede mo siyang ihele, buhatin mo siya, ihele mo. Alam mo, this is not only the job of the parents. The lolo and lola can also help provide this reassurance to these preschool children. You also answer questions only as they come up. Pag hindi tinatanong, huwag mong sagutin kasi magkakaroon sila ng information overload. Tsaka kung ano yung tanong niya, yun lang sagutin mo. Huwag mo na-explain na, naku anak, it is caused by an RNA virus. Ang dami mo ng paliwanag. Hindi mo lang maintindihan yun, no? So, again, try to keep the routine consistent. Sa mga preschool, may routine na nagigising sila ng umaga, painumin mo ng gatas, maliligo, magbibihis, magtutoothbrush. Do not change the routine. For as long as the routine is there, they may not feel that something is really wrong. No? Divide and conquer. When you say divide and conquer, di ba, mag-asawa kayo. Yung isa nagtatrabaho, yung isa nag-aalaga ng bata. So, wag yung dalawa kayo nagtatrabaho, tapos yung bata walang nag-aasikaso sa kanya. Kailangan isa sa inyo nagtatrabaho, yung isa nag-aalaga. No? Tapos pag may sinasabi si preschool, kailangan pakikinggan mo. Kasi minsan, hindi. Minsan you shug them away, no? Sinabi mo niyan kanina paulit-ulit. Kasi na-stress ka na din, di ba? Kaya mabuti talaga may mga tito, tita, lolo, lola na taga-kinig. These preschool children need attention. So, pakinggan mo lang. Wala naman din mo niya, ang gusto lang naman niya magsalita, di ba? Respect short attention spans. Minsan, dahil palagi nang kinasulob ng bahay, minsan nag-iiba yung ugali nila, di ba? Na short na attention span, sabihin mo, anak, isulat mo nga to, colorin mo yan. Bibigyan mo ng coloring book. Hindi pa na kakalahati, pinitigil na niya. Pipilitin mo siya ngayon, minsan kukurti mo, bumalik ka nga, tapusin mo yung kinokoloran mo. Hindi, wag ganon. So you respect their short attention span. Kung ano yung gusto ng bata, di yun lang. If ayaw niya na to, bigyan mo siya ng ibang task na that could keep the child busy. Another guideline is do some exercise with your children in the house. Exercise kayo. Ano ba exercise? Pwede kayong magtaguan, no? Preschool yan eh. So taguan o kaya sayaw-sayaw. Uso pa naman ngayon yung mga baby shark, tut, diba? Mga TikTok. Mag-TikTok kayo sa bahay. You provide, in other words, you provide creative play outlets to enable children to express their feelings. Sometimes, alam mo, makita mo yung mga preschool, maglalaro sila ng mga kapatid niya. Meron siyang stethoscope. Yan, may stethoscope siya. Chine-check up niya yung unan. Or minsan, may dala-dala siyang thermometer. Na yung handgun thermometer, chine-check niya. Tapos they are role-playing. These plays are welcome kasi they're expressing their observation, their feelings, and this will allay fears among them. Yan. Okay, next. Ngayon, sa school-age children, iba naman din. Children ages 5 to 12 have very different needs. The younger the child, iba rin yung kanyang needs, no? The older the child, the more they will need to ask their questions and share their fears with you. So, hindi mo to pwedeng mulahin, mga school age. Get the facts straight. Sabihin mo kung ano yung totoo. Huwag ka namang bola. No? try to keep opinions out of it. Pag sinabing, oh, kung ano lang sinasabi sa TV, sa DOH, na mga data, yun lang sasabihin mo. Huwag mo nang dagdagan pa. Kasi minsan, we are biased because on what we see in Facebook. And yung mga Facebook na mga post, hindi naman lahat tama, may mga fake news din dyan. Share your feelings with your children but don't overwhelm them. Pwede mo naman silang sabihan, pero huwag mo silang constantly kwentuhan. Kasi yung fear natin, ito papasa natin sa kanila. Be a role model. Be a role model on what? On hand washing. Pakita mo, mga anak, halika na, maghugas na tayo ng kamay. So, sabay-sabay kayo maghugas ng kamay, sing happy birthday song. Pag umuubo anak, hindi openly. So, you can use your bent elbow or the tissue and properly dispose this tissue away. Enlist their help. Siyempre, mga school-age children na yan. Bigyan mo sila ng work, wala namang pasok. So, pwede sila maghugas ng pinggan, isa tagaligpit, isang tagawalis. Keep an eye on social media. Tignan mo rin kung ano yung pinapanood nila sa social media. Minsan silip-silipin mo kasi baka they are looking on the wrong information. And find creative outlets. Maraming pwedeng gawin. Pwedeng may maraming mga ano ngayon sa maraming apps with COVID-19. Example posted by Sesame Street and other apps. Next. Now for adolescents, ito medyo mas mahirap, no? Kasi among children, among this age group, talagang adolescents are the hard-hitted. So you have to get the facts straight to them, set rules of the household together. Routines still matter. Be straight about their role in containing COVID. Be patient. Respect goes both ways. Ngayon, among teenager, you should be sharp in spotting when they are sad. When they feel sad, depressed, hopeless, nervous, or angry during this COVID-19 pandemic. So kung yung anak mo medyo tulog ng tulog, kalahating araw na nasa kwarto natutulog, abay check on it, baka mamaya talagang nade-depress, hindi nagsasalita. If you first talk to them, ano ba anak, ano bang nararamdaman mo? So let them express their feelings. Pero habang nag-express sila, huwag mong pagalitan. Baka man pinapagalitan mo, hindi na mag-express yung bata, di ba? Next. Encourage video chat. Yan. Because wala nang face-to-face interaction, huwag mo naman pigilan mag-video chat. Let them go with the video chat. Choose educational programming. Alam niyo naman, these are stressful times. Don't feel bad about using screens more than usual. Sometimes we parents are so strict with Netflix, with Facebook. Pigil ka lang pigil, wala na nga siya mapanood. Pinipigilan mo pa. When you can watch programs or play video games or apps with your child. Pwede mo naman siyang sabayan. Make sure the children have access to a balanced activity diet. Hindi man palaging screen. Dapat may physical activity din. So there should be a balance between the two. Now, ito, alam ko, gusto niyo itong pakinggan. Guidelines on screen time. This guideline was released by UNICEF for every child during COVID-19. Staying in touch with friends is very important. Imagine, for 6 months now, wala silang face-to-face interaction with their friends. Palagi nilang FaceTime or Zoom. There should be an active engagement and parental oversight also when your children does this. And the physical activity in front of screens. Are they doing active video games? You can do online exercise classes with this screen time. Before pandemic, the recommendation of the American Academy of Pediatrics is there should be no screen time less than 18 months. Ulitin ko no screen time less than 18 months. 18 months is 1 year and 6 months. Pero ano nakikita namin sa clinic? Ang mga nanay, Pag umiyak na yung bata, ibibigay na yung cellphone. Kasi yung cellphone, yaya. So, dapat walang screen time for 1 year and 6 months. Minimal screen time kapag 18 to 24 months. So, pag 2 years old, pwede ng konti-konti. Magpalabas ka na ng mga baby shark, no? O kaya yung mga educational mga songs, no? Now, kung 2 to 5 years old naman, pwede ka na magbigay ng 1 hour per day of high-quality programs. These guidelines are set by the American Academy of Pediatrics. So 1 hour per day lang. For 6 years and above, there's no specific time limit. But during pandemic, medyo relax tayo. There's an additional screen time. This is unavoidable. You can make time for offline experiences. But you have to challenge also your children to practice tech control. Sabi mo, anak, hausapan natin. 1 hour lang. Minsan humihirit sila, Mami, another hour. Pwede naman siguro. But dapat meron na kayo agreement with the child. And this should be enforced. There should be no screen time 1 hour before bedtime. Pag oras na talaga ng tulog, wala na talagang, if you can get the phone and put it in a safe place, sana ma-enforce yun. Because bedroom should be device-free room. Nagagawa ba natin yon? Minsan kasi si Mami, yung kasama niya anak niya, bago matulog, nagfe-Facebook, nagte-TikTok. So how can you be a role model when you yourself is doing this? So tayo yung mga role models. No, bedrooms are device-free rooms. I think that ends my short talk on COVID-19 in children. But before I end, I would like to honor Dr. Sally Gatchalian, our president of the Philippine Pediatric Society, who was among the first doctors to be a hero of COVID-19. And with that, I would like to thank you all for your kind attention. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Dr. Naomi, for that wonderful sharing. So Doc Eric shared earlier that we need to take care of ourselves for our mental health. So Doc Naomi naman, sinundan yan that we as parents should be mindful of our children and babies during this pandemic time. So magkasunod po silang dalawa. And we'd like to present the certificate of appreciation to CP Dr. Naomi Licuanan from RC Padre Burgos for your invaluable support and recognition, sharing your time and expertise, being our guest of honor and speaker during the community service seminar with topic on children protection from the pandemic, giving the full meaning of the principal ideals of Rotary International motto, service above self, and its theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities, given this 5th day of September 2020 via Zoom webinar hosted by RC Ermita Manila. Signed, IPP Dalicator, SDG Edwin, DG Lodi Tariela, and DS Catherine Aguilar. Thank you so much again, Dr. Naomi Licuanan, for sharing that insight on children protection from the pandemic. Before I hand it over to the introduction of our next speaker, would like to acknowledge the presence of our DG and Joyce Ambre, who joined us in this webinar. Welcome, DG and Joyce. I'd like to move on to our next speaker, and with that, I'd like to introduce our PE President-elect Rich Abdu Awadala to introduce our next speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you po. Good morning, everyone. So I am President-elect Rich Abdu Awadala of the Rotary Club of Ermita, Manila. Our next speaker is a past president. Okay, so PP Felicidad V. Velandria is a registered nutritionist dietitian or RND, a public health expert in the field of food and nutrition. She served in the Department of Science and Technology, Food and Nutrition Research Institute, or DOST-FNRI, for 43 years as supervising research specialist. She is currently a technical working group member of the Red Scope Communication Incorporated and to many other nutrition and health-related projects in the Philippines. I am very honored to present to everyone our next speaker, Past President Felicidad Fely V. Velandria of Rotary Club of Lubang Island.
Welcome, Tita Fely. Pa-unmute mo na po yung phone nyo, Tita Fely.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
morning, District Governor Odie Tariela, Transformational President, fellow Rotarians, and guests. Slide, please. May I have the first slide, please? Do you believe in this saying? You are what you eat. Yes or no?
Yes po.
Yes. Well, there are genetic and other environmental factors. But food is a basic need. We eat to satisfy our hunger and also to be healthy, of course, and live long. The kind and quality of food and the amount of food that we eat affects our bodies and our lives. Research have shown that a healthy diet can help reduce the chances of contracting chronic diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, cancer, and others. Nutrition science also has revealed that nutrients in many foods have a strong disease-fighting benefits. And this is now labeled as functional food. I was assigned the topic, proper nutrition in fight against COVID-19. Proper nutrition is defined as eating the right kind and amount of food at the right time. So it's not just eating what you see or what is your favorite. And you have to also take note that there is a right amount of food that you need. And you eat at the right time. So you do not also eat every time or every hour. Give your digestive system enough time, at least 3 hours to digest the food. In this midst of COVID-19 pandemic, we are advised to practice health protocols. However, it is also important to keep our immune system strong and healthy. The immune system is our main line of defense against germs that carries diseases. There are organ systems in our body where the immune cells are located. In your mucous membrane, lymphatic vessels, tonsil, thymus, lymph nodes, spleen, skin, and bone marrow. Let's see what are the warning signs of weak immune system. See this? Level of stress. So stress reduces our immune system. And if you suffer colds, on the average, you should only have 2 colds per year. You suffer stomach trouble, frequent diarrhea, frequent constipation, and gas pain. If you have wounds, it heals slow. frequent infection like pneumonia, chronic sinusitis, more. And you feel tired all the time, even though you have just come from sleep. Do you know that 70% of our immune system is in our gut or in our stomach? These are the good bacteria that release the antibodies to maintain immunity. So gut bacteria plays an important role in digestion. Just a reminder, if you are taking antibiotic drugs, these good bacteria in our digestive system are killed. So it is important that if you are taking antibiotics, you have to take probiotics and prebiotics. And these are the ordinary Yakult and your yogurt. Okay, next slide, please. The healthy immune system needs regular supply of macronutrients. These are the carbohydrates, protein, and fat, and micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. Next slide, please. These are some ways to boost your immune system. 1, eat balanced diet. You'll know this later. Get enough sleep, 7 to 8 hours. Exercise regularly, 10 to 30 minutes per day at least. Wash your hands, maintain healthy weight, don't smoke, and minimize stress. Next slide, please. These are the well-studied immune booster nutrients: vitamin A, vitamin B6, vitamin C, vitamin E, and 3 minerals: zinc, selenium, and magnesium. Before we discuss on these nutrients, it is important to know also that in the foods that we are buying or preparing at home, we should see to it na ang mga pagkain natin ay malinis for safe consumption. At higit sa lahat, dapat po ang ating mga pagkain ay nare-retain ang nutritional value. Marami tayong mga practices sa bahay na hindi tama. Ang gulay at prutas, hindi po yan binabalatan karamihan. Kinakain ng balat kasi nasa balat ang sustansya. Hindi yan binababad sa tubig bago nang balat na o nakahiwa na. No? So, let's go to the nutrients. And of course, do not overcook your vegetables. Next slide, please. Okay, vitamin A is for healthy skin, tissues, and tissues of the mouth, the intestine, stomach, and lungs. The best sources, the rich source of vitamin A are our green and yellow vegetables. The darker the color of your vegetable, the dark green, the darker yellow, or orange, the more nutrients. Dark green vegetables, among the dark green vegetables, our best or nutritious vegetable is none other than malunggay, your saluyot, your alugbati, kamote, talbos. Squash and carrots, please do not peel your carrots or squash. It is the vitamin A is in their skin. So also, based on our study, the middle portion of the squash, yung malambot, sa gitna na may buto, nandun po ang maraming vitamin A. So hindi tinatapon yun. Sinasama sa pagluto. At ang vitamin A po ay fat soluble. So kailangan, para madaling magamit ng ating katawan, ma-absorb, lulutuin natin sa taba. Konting mantika. At higit sa lahat maganda, coconut milk. Other sources ay pork and chicken liver. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, vitamin B6. This is a B vitamin. Ang vitamin B6 po, very volatile yan, madaling masira sa tubig, sa init. It is important for our immune system, the biochemical processes. So you have, for B vitamins, you have your beans and nuts, garbanzos, again, green leafy, chicken, salmon, and tuna. Your beans are a good source of vitamin B. You do not soak beans in water before cooking. We usually do it overnight. No, just wash it thoroughly, then add three times of water, spare 1 part of beans, cover the pot, put it on your stove. To cook beans should only take you 10 minutes of brisk boiling. 10 minutes of brisk boiling, put off the fire, and then let it stand there for 30 minutes or more. And that will cook, that will soften because of the starch hydrolyzation process. You do not cook your beans continuously until it becomes soft. You are destroying the protein and you are destroying the vitamin. For salmon and tuna, these are good source of omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 fatty acid is good for our heart. Studied na po yan, napag-aralan na. It normalizes the heartbeat. And also it's good for our brain. Okay, so next slide. Next slide, please. Vitamin C. Vitamin C, these are found in it helps in the production of antibodies that destroys virus. The best sources are our citrus fruits. Oranges, dalandan, pomelo, calamansi. But another are the papaya, pineapple, your red mango, or your ripe mango, and your red bell pepper. Please do not drink or eat citrus food or vitamin C rich foods to get in hot water, or you do not cook it. Vitamin C is destroyed by heat. So hindi tama ang mainit na tsa. Pinapatakan ng calamansi or lemon. Okay, next slide please. Vitamin E. Vitamin E is an antioxidant. It fights free radicals that destroy body cells. The best sources are your nuts, peanuts, avocado, broccoli, and again, green leafy vegetables. Next slide, please. Magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral that supports immunity. It has a calming effect. The best source are nuts, all nuts, seeds, leafy green vegetables, and whole grain. These are your brown bread, brown rice, root crops. Do you know that our root crops is a healthy root crop, your kamote? Kamote, the yellow and the violet kamote is very rich source. And for your corn, yellow corn is more nutritious than white corn. White corn is only for those with diabetes. We are encouraged to eat rice, but not too much. We notice that many people shun to rice, no? Hindi na sila kumakain ng kanin kasi nakakataba. You will know that later. Okay, next slide, please. Selenium. Selenium is an antioxidant. It also reduces inflammation, pamamaga. Again, the rich sources are tuna, all your shellfish, chicken meat, mushroom, tokwa, and whole grains. Next slide. Zinc. Zinc fights virus, and this helps in wound healing. The best source of zinc is oyster, clams, mussel, shell pieces, liver, beef, egg yolk. Next slide, please. Virgin coconut oil. Ang virgin coconut oil po, well studied yan. It has an antiviral property, antibacterial, and antifungal. You can use it, no, for salad. You can use it also for external, sa skin. You can use it also for internal. The therapeutic dosage, the recommended therapeutic dosage for virgin coconut oil is 2 to 3 tablespoons per day. And if you are constipated, this can help you. Next slide, please. Our spices: garlic, onion, ginger, and chilies. They are all antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. Use this always in your cooking, particularly your ginger. Okay. Next slide. I'd like to introduce a nutrition guide prepared by the Food and Nutrition Research Institute of the Department of Science and Technology. This is to help Filipinos acquire healthy eating habits. The reason why we have a increasing prevalence of non-communicable diseases, hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and so forth. We eat a lot of rice or carbohydrates and protein, and very little of vegetable. It is important that we eat more vegetables, and the green, leafy, and yellow ones are the most nutritious vegetables. So as much as possible, you must have green vegetables every day in your table. The more colorful your vegetable is, the more nutritious, the more healthy. The Pinggang Pinoy concept is to show the proportion of foods that we should eat per meal. This is a translation of the RENI, or the recommended energy and nutrient intake. This is a standard recommendation to see for the adequacy of our diet. So, next slide, please. So this is a food model. You have a 9-inch plate. Half of your plate should be vegetable and fruit, while the other half, 2/3 should be rice, and the other 1/3 should be your ulam. Our food was divided into 3 groups according to function. So, the go foods are our carbohydrates, and eat more of complex carbohydrates. Carbohydrates that are starchy and with fiber, like the brown rice, brown bread, oatmeal, no? Your corn, and root crops. So these are the go foods. You have your pasta. You have your kakanin, suman, no? Okay, may I remind you to please do not remove or do not peel your boiled kamote and patatas. The vitamin A, your vitamin C is on the skin. You just brush it thoroughly. As I have said, yellow kamote and violet kamote is more nutritious than the white kamote. Okay? Included also as a good go food is your fats and oils. Limit your intake of saturated fat. Saturated fats are the solid fats from animal sources. Solid at room temperature. Taba ng baboy, taba ng baka, taba ng manok, especially sa breast. No? So you have to remove that. The best oil are the plant oils coming from plant sources, like your coconut oil, your other vegetable oil, like your canola, and so forth. Okay, the next group, the GRO. The GRO are the protein-rich foods. Ulam niyo po yan. Protein-rich foods are divided into 2. We have the animal source and the vegetable source. For animals, meat, fish, chicken, eggs, dairy products, milk, cheese, egg. Then you have your shellfishes. For plant source, you have your beans and nuts. As I have said earlier, beans is a good source of vitamin B, but plant-based beans has the same protein value as meat, fish, and poultry. So you can interchange, you can substitute beans for fish, for meat, for chicken, because based on our study, it has the same protein value. Okay, so the next group, the GLOW foods. The GLOW foods, again, divided into two. We have the green, leafy, and yellow vegetables. So these are the more nutritious vegetables are the leafy, green, and yellow. The fruit vegetables with single color, like for example, your upo, your sayote. It has not much nutritional value, not much nutrient. It only contains water and fiber. If you are going to cook this kind of vegetables, the fruit vegetables, I suggest that you add leafy green vegetables or yellow vegetables to enhance the nutritional value of the vegetable dish. And you make it also colorful. Okay? Now, for fruits, we give emphasis to our vitamin C rich fruits. Included in that are your pineapple. Pag kumain po kayo ng pineapple, pwede bang hindi natin alisin yung gitna? Yung matigas dun sa gitna. Yun po ay nandun ang maraming sustansya at fiber. It is bromelain, proteolytic enzyme. Yan po ay nakakatulong sa mga may arthritis. Okay? Papaya also. Bakit pag kumain ng papaya, mas maganda po babalatan and gumamit. Pag magbabalat ng prutas o gulay, gumamit tayo ng peeler, not knife. Pag knife, makapal. So maraming naalis na sustansya. So peeler. Sa papaya, bakit inaalis yung nasa ibabaw? Pag kinakabitan ng buto. Andun din po ang sustansya and it has fiber. Remember, fiber is very important in our daily intake. It helps in the absorption and elimination, digestion and elimination. So yan po ang pangwalis natin sa ating katawan para hindi tayo constipated. And also, the fiber, nakakapagpababa po yan ng blood sugar, cholesterol, based on studies na ginawa po namin, no? And it also helps in the digestion, in the proper absorption of calcium. Okay? Next slide, please. Okay. Tayo po, bawat age group, may kanya-kanyang dami ng energy or calories or nutrients, vitamins and minerals na kinakailangang kinakain natin araw-araw. Yung dami na yon. So, hindi naman natin ninyo maintindihan pag sinabi namin sa inyo na, oh, you should consume 2,300 calories per day, 70 grams of protein, or 200 grams of carbohydrates, no? So, ito po ang aming suggestion, translation. So, iba ang pangangailangan ng mga bata, infants, toddlers, mga school children, the teenagers, the adults, and the elderly. And iba din ang sa babae at sa lalaki. Iba din ang pangangailangan ng mga inang buntis at nagpapasuso at merong disease condition. Next slide, please. Ito po yan. Meron kaming kanya-kanyang amount for each age group and sex. Next slide, please. Okay. Ito po ang dapat na dami ng kinakain natin every meal. Iba sa lalaki, iba sa babae. For male adults, 19 years to 59. Ang rice allowance 1.5 cups of rice. 1 to 1.5 cups of vegetables. If it is cooked, 3/4 cup. If it is, 1.5 cups of vegetables. 2 small pieces of fish. Kasing lang yung thumb and your middle finger. 1 serving of fruit. Ang 1 serving po ng fruit ay kasinlang haba lang ng iyong daliri mula dito sa thumb hanggang sa your forefinger. Okay? And may I remind you that pag kumain ng, banana is a good source of potassium and fiber. Pag kumakain ng banana, dapat po hindi inaalis yung mga hibla. Nandun ang fiber, nandun ang potassium. As much as possible, scrape the inner skin of banana to get all the potassium, because potassium is good for the heart and the kidney. And 10 or more glasses of water. For female adult, 1 cup rice, 3/4 to 1 cup of vegetable, 2 small pieces of fish, 1 serving of fruit, 8 or more glasses of water. Next slide, please. Tandaan niyo po yung para hindi na kayo kakain ng napakaraming kanin. For older persons, for the elderly, 60 years and above, 1 cup rice, 3/4 to 1 cup of vegetable, 2 small pieces of fish, 1 serving of fruit, 8 or more glasses of water. For female, 3/4 cup of rice, 3/4 cup of vegetable, 2 small pieces of fish, 1 serving of fruit, or 7 or more glasses of water. Water is very important. There are times of the day that you should drink water. The first is drink 2 glasses of water in the morning. Then 1 glass before you take a bath, because water lowers your blood pressure. Drink 1 glass of water 30 minutes before eating, not every while eating, because that interferes in the digestion. Now also, another thing, drink water, 1 glass of water before sleeping. This will prevent heart attack or stroke and leg cramps. Okay? Next slide, please. So this is my take-home message. That the immune system needs regular supply of macro, complete, no? Carbohydrates, protein and fat, and micronutrients, vitamins and minerals to keep it strong and healthy. Let's practice healthy eating using the Magpinggang Pinoy concept. And remember that healthy diet helps reach and maintain healthy weight. What is your healthy weight? Your healthy weight, I have a rule of thumb. For male, for every 5 feet tall male, 106 pounds. Then add 6 pounds per increase of inch height. And for female, sa mga babae, for every 5 feet, 100 pounds, add 5 pounds per increase in inch. And meron po kami na ginawa ngayon, which ginagawa na ng mga doktor para malaman ang risk factor ng isang tao kung siya ba ay delikado sa mga heart disease. Ito po ay ang size ng ating waistline, your waist circumference. The shape of your body tells us if you are at risk to heart disease or non-communicable diseases. Masama po ang malaki ang abdomen. If you look like an apple, delikado. Or bare belly. The other shape is pear shape. Sa mga babae, pear shape, malaki ang balakang. Less risky to cardiovascular diseases. So what is the healthy waistline measurement? For female, equal or below 31 inches. For males, equal or below 36 inches. Pag tumaas kayo sa 36 or 31, you are at risk to have hypertension, hypercholesterolemia, high blood sugar. Yun po ang aming findings. So, you have to reduce your risk to chronic diseases and promote overall health if you eat a healthy diet. That's all. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Tita Fely.
Let this be also my reminder. Let food be your medicine, not medicine your food.
Ang galing, Tita Fely. Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing, and just to note from us that na technical, ang galing ng photos mo. It is all high resolution, nakakagutom po. Si Joy, dapat isama mo sa inyo, Tita Fely, para maging sexy siya lalo because of the proper nutrients that you advise. I'm sure our fellow Rotarians learned a lot from the boiling of the potatoes, anong klaseng patatas, to the water, drinking before you sleep, and after, and how many times, and kung gaano lang kadami ang dapat kainin na rice. Okay po, we'd like to thank you and award you the Certificate of Appreciation to PP Felicidad Velandria from RC Lubang Island for your invaluable support and recognition to share your time and expertise being our guest of honor and speaker during the community service seminar with topic on proper nutrition and fight against COVID-19. Giving the full meaning of the principal ideals of Rotary International motto, service above self, and its key, Rotary opens opportunities. Given this 5th day of September 2020 via Zoom webinar hosted by RC Ermita Manila, signed IPP Dolly Cater, SPG Edwin Seymour Chu, PG Leody Tariela, and DS Catherine. Maraming salamat, Tita Fely, and for also rehearsing with us in the unmute and mute exercises. Your presentation has been very, very helpful. Okay, thank you. Mute ka na ulit, Tita Fely.
Mute.
Yes. Okay. See, we all learn. So
Learn.
for those that are listening, meron pong nagtanong kasi yung Q&A portion, we will have all the questions after our last speaker. If you're using a mobile phone, the Q&A button is on the top right. So if you're using a Mac or a PC, the Q&A is below, beside the record and the participant screen. But if you're using a mobile phone, nasa taas po siya, beside the leave button sa taas ng phone. So nandun po yung Q&A. So it depends on what you are using, whether Android or iPhone. Okay, so again, for those other participants that we have, all the Q&A, please type it in the box and our facilitator will handle it later after our next speaker. With that, I'd like to move on to introducing our next speaker, but I'll hand it over to our TP NAR, Montilla, to introduce our last, but definitely not the least. Just to note that our next speaker is recommended by Commissioner Greco Belfica, who cannot make it. So I'm handing it over to you, TP NAR. All yours.
Thank you po. 1, 2, 3. How do I? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
yes.
Okay, thanks.
TP NAR na yun.
Okay. So magandang tanghali po sa inyo lahat. Almost tanghali na. 11:16. Our last, but definitely not the least, speaker for today is a licensed agriculturist and a deputized plant quarantine officer with advanced training on sanitary and phytosanitary measures, risk management, and his experience in both local and international phytosanitary standards formulation and enforcement. His experience in agriculture and background in management has developed in him an innovative perspective towards sustainable agriculture development. He has managed and has participated in numerous local and international cooperation and capacity building activities for plant health under the auspices of the Department of Agriculture, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organizations, and the World Trade Organization. A PhD graduate, a candidate in public administration. He finished his master in public management, major in rural agricultural development. He is currently the Assistant Director of Bureau of Plant Industry of the field of the Department of Agriculture. Fellow Rotarians and guests, we now listen to Assistant Director, Dr. GERALD GLEN Panganiban.
Po, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Magandang umaga po, Doc.
Magandang umaga po sa mga Rotarians. Am I coming in clear po?
Yes po, yes po.
Okay. So, without further ado, I will start the program. TP NAR, maraming salamat po sa invitasyon. And maraming salamat po again sa mga Rotarians na nakikinig at nagpa-follow ngayon dito sa webinar. So, ako po ay napakiusapang i-present yung aming initiative. Ito nga po yung Urban Agriculture Program ng Department of Agriculture. At ito po ay actually ay naibigay sa aming ahensya late last year ng aming Secretary William Dar. Wala pa pong COVID noon, pero I think he is really a wise man dahil parang nakikita niya yung future. Before the year ended, 2019 ended, he said formulate a guideline on urban agriculture and encourage it and develop it. And then come March, nagkaroon tayo ng mga challenges. Ito nga ang pandemic. So isa itong urban agriculture na nakikita namin, personal, ito po ay personal opinion ko rin, ano po, na kahit paano ay nakatulong sa ating mga kababayan para mag-take off yung kanilang isip sa pag-iisip. Nabanggit po kanina yung pag-source ng food, ng safe na food. Maari po, siguro po, in the future, kapag po na-develop natin further yung mga community gardens into livelihood. So ito po, urban agriculture during COVID-19, responding to crisis and turning it to collaborative opportunities. So ang Pilipinas po, yun nga po, isa po tayo sa mga highly populated areas in the urban settings. At ito pong urban agriculture is seen as one of the mechanisms para maka-achieve tayo ng or maka-assist sa ating food security demands. Ano po? And as I have mentioned earlier, if food security in the household is achieved, maybe we can turn it into livelihood opportunities. Again, ito pong ating kinakaharap na pandemya ngayon ay maaring i-consider na wicked problem or socially complex problems that cannot be solved by an individual entity. So dahil po sa crisis na ating kinakaharap, marami pong realization at isa po ito ay yung importansya ng agriculture at nagsasanga-sanga po siya. Health, source of food, source of livelihood, security. So yun po ang nakita nating rational kung bakit po natin i-implement itong ating urban agriculture program. Ano po ba yung aims natin before COVID was just to source local food. Of course, nabanggit po ng ating past presenter, yung pong nutrition ay importante to add to the diet of the Filipinos. Mostly, nabanggit po ni ma'am kanina po, napakaliit po ng portion ng gulay sa ating mga diets. So yun po ang aming gusto sana na i-encourage noon. Of course, number 3, after nga po magkaroon tayo ng household food security, hopefully magkaroon ng value addition so that we can turn it into livelihoods. And then 4th is to modernize yung ating urban agriculture. Of course, we've done it before, pero hindi po siya, kumbaga mga conventional lamang po na urban gardening ang ating ginagawa. So we would have wanted to modernize. So pagdating po nitong pandemya, nagkaroon po tayo ng kakaibang mga challenges naman. Logistics challenges, lockdowns, yun po yung source of nutritious food na nabanggit kanina kasi po mga food packs, mga laman, noodles, canned goods. Of course, yung pong mga out of work na populace natin, paano po sila kakain, anong pambibili nila, wala silang trabaho, hindi sila makagalaw. And of course, yung pong, yun nga po, the government cannot do it alone. So yung collaboration and yung mga norms natin na bago dahil po pare-parehas tayong first time ito na experience. So it's all new experience for us. And then moving forward, ano po ba ang gagawin natin post-COVID? Ano? So yung challenges po sa government, especially sa amin, sa BPI was of course, yung lahat na experience natin, yung personal natin, hindi makagalaw. Right now, we are still working on like 50%, although meron po kami kasi mga frontline offices like the quarantine and food safety, which are still there. So yun, medyo yung adaptation ng bureaucracia sa crisis, medyo yun po ay naging challenging. Of course, yung info dissemination at saka yung handling ng hotlines namin, we have received a lot of demands for our services. Pero of course, dahil nga po yung personnel na hawak nitong lines na ito ay stayed the same, medyo po naging challenging po yon. Yung logistics po ng delivery of our services, of course, na ano kasi meron kaming mga monitoring and evaluation activities na hindi po nagawa. And of course, yung challenge ng linking ng farm to market, which siguro po, blessing in disguise because right now, yung pong online services natin medyo nag-improve. So medyo na-link po. Ang dami na po ngayon online na mga nagtitinda. But of course, notwithstanding yung ating mga food safety guidelines, hopefully yun po ay napafollow. So ito lang po yung framework natin from the start. We have partnered with private sector, civil society organizations, government offices. As we implement yung pag-sustain ng aming gulayan sa paaralan, marami pong paaralan ngayon, yun nga lang po ay sarado, but some of them have continued growing and maintaining their community gardens inside the schools and of course sa mga barangay. Yung pag-apply ng aming research, existing research at saka existing technologies namin, container gardening, hydroponics, mushroom culture, mamaya po makikita niyo yan sa trainings namin available. And then yung pag-launch namin ng gulayan sa paaralan, of course, we in the government right now are doing a whole of government approach. We are not perfect, of course, but we are thankful because other government agencies really were interested when we sent out our invitation to them to really participate in this urban agriculture program. Ang dami pong nag-respond. And of course, training for value add and post-production activities po ay naandyan. Of course, we want to also improve by using ICT technology para po ayan po na mamapa natin yung mga active schools and barangays who are partners in urban agriculture. So yun po, gaya po na nabanggit ko, yung gulayan sa paaralan, matagal na po ito. Pero po, we are happy to report that even the Rotary Club, di ba po, I think last weekend lang, o kahapon lang yata, namigay po ulit kayo ng mga seeds and seedlings sa mga schools so that they can use it for, dati po ginagamit po siya sa feeding program ng mga bata, pero sa ngayon po, yung iba po kasi na aming partners, what they do is what they harvest is they give it to their frontliners, yung mga malalapit sa mga barangay, mga malapit na hospital. Yun po yung ginagawa ng iba nating mga partners sa paaralan. Ano po? Ang challenge lang, of course, is how to sustain and develop it further. Ito po, pre-COVID pa po ito. Ano? Itong mga batang ito nagpupunta sa ating ahensya. And then yung gulayan sa barangay, of course, we do that in partnership with the LGUs. We have community gardens so that we can have food always in the home. Yun nga po ang sinasabi. And opportunities po for livelihood, yung mga taong nagpa-participate dito. Siguro po may ilan na rin naman pong nag-report sa amin nga, nakaka-harvest na po sila. At ito po ay pinapamigay nila either sa mga ina ng tahanan, yung mga widows, yung mga na-orphan. Ayun po, malaking, hindi po masabing malaki pala. Pero I think ito po ay tulong na rin. Sa halip na po na sila ay bibili ng mga gulay, di yun pong ibang essentials na lang po ang kanilang pagkakagastusan. Medyo naging challenge lang po is yung pag-implement kasi dahil po sa ating community quarantine protocols. Ayan, ito po yung ating partnership with the first few LGUs, pero marami na pong sumunod sa kanya. Partner na rin po ang San Juan, ang Navotas, ang Malabon. Marami na pong partners sa NCR kasi po ang NCR po ang scope ng Bureau of Plant Industry. Ito po yung mga existing trainings. Pre-COVID po ito. Ano po? And meron po tayong mushroom culture and cultivation, which is a high value training, and of course urban agriculture training, urban agriculture 101. Ngayon po, we are trying to upload trainings on the web para po either like ganito, synchronous or blended learning or asynchronous learning para po yung ating mga tao, halimbawa hindi makapanood ng live o makasunod ng live, we have pre-taped training modules also available na po. Ito po yung pinush namin, yung gulayan sa pamahalaan para naman po kami sa tayo, mga nasa gobyerno, ay makapag-participate po. At we were surprised at their warm reception to the idea kasi nga po, ayan po, nakikita nyo, ito puro konkreto ito sa Maynila ito sa City Hall. Pero ngayon po, meron na po siyang garden sa space na yan. So, yun nga po, on the challenge on nutrition and food security, the lockdown opened the eyes of the people na significant yung pagkakaroon ng locally sourced and nutritious na food sa inyong locality. It could have been survival gardening or yung tinatawag na short-term gestating crops para magkaroon tayo ng everyday o kahit hindi everyday, kahit every week meron tayong alternative source ng ating nutritious food. So ito pong ating food security mandate na ito ay nagawa namin sa pag-distribute ng mga seeds. Ang dami na po from before. We just had maybe 10 or 20 requests a week. Umabot po kami ng thousands in a week. And it was really demanding on our services, pero through collaboration din po ay amin po itong natugunan naman itong mga demands na ito. So yun nga po, yung pag-value add, sana po yung pag-source ng possible income or livelihood from these community gardens. What we did po from before was yung po mga nagsaradong agritourism farms, doon po actually nagsimula ito itong pag-initiate namin ito na kasi po wala na pong maibayad sa mga tao nila. So what we did was give them or distribute to them the seeds and planting material. So yung pong ma-harvest, yun po ang kanilang ibayad. So pansamantala. Again, we did this through webinars, gaya po nito, mga YouTube videos. And recently, we partnered with malls. And we partnered with the agribusiness management and marketing arm of the Department of Agriculture, yung AMAS, para po yun sa kanilang kadiwa, directly connect the farmers to the market. Of course, we have tried modernizing to engage youth in agriculture. Kasi po, conventionally, marami pong mga bata parang ayaw na nilang mag-agriculture. Pero ngayon po, we are very happy na yun nga po, nagkaroon ng realization ng kahit po yung mga bata na okay, importante ito. Even my kids po, they are into planting and growing the vegetables, and nabanggit po ng isang speaker natin, we need those kinds of alternative activities para po sa ating mga kapamilya at mga kasama. Kasi po, to keep us sane, to keep us busy, and it has the therapeutic effect daw po, yung pag-garden. So, again, yun nga po, yung collaboration. Of course, we want to quantify and qualify our results para naman po maganda po yung maging input namin sa ating mga policy makers and para po mas maganda po yung pag-implement naman. Other activities, yun nga, kasama po kayo pag-distribute ng seeds and seedlings. Nung po nagka-problema kami sa pag-distribute, may mga biker groups po na nag-volunteer. Even the LGUs po, sabi sila, sige, you can course it through us para po mas malapit. So we are very humbled and very happy that collaboration was very, very high. And then just recently, kahapon lang po, we had our partnership with Dole Asia, parang nagiging corporate social responsibility activities po nila, yung urban gardening, urban agriculture. Of course, yun nga po, info dissemination, napaka-importante po ngayon in the age of social media, at saka po na-highlight nga po ngayon yung mga online activities like this. Supporting SMEs and agripreneurs, yun po, nabanggit ko po kanina. And of course, ito po, yung amin pong contribution doon po sa ginagawa, at kaya po ako napakiusapan ni Commissioner Belica actually is yun nga po yung support namin sa Balik Probinsya program. Yung Balik Probinsya program po, of course, alam na po natin yon na we want to decongest the metro by encouraging the people na naandyan, especially yung mga nasa mga depressed areas, to go home to the provinces. But of course, we want to assist them first. Kaya po yung mga community gardens namin, hindi lang po siya for production purpose. It could be a demo garden, it could be a training site for these people. So that when they go back home, meron po silang pwedeng gawin. Of course, automatic na po yung mga seeds and seedlings na, of course, upon availability na ibinibigay po natin sa mga grupo na umuwi na. Kasi po isa po sa key area nitong Balik Probinsya program is yung food security and agricultural productivity. So of course, hindi po namin magagawa mag-isa ng Department of Agriculture ito. So ito pong aking ipine-present sa inyo, yung urban agriculture program natin. At yung mga ginagawa po ng aming regional offices sa Department of Agriculture ay isa lamang po iyon. Marami po tayong mga partner agencies na talaga pong tumutulong. Of course, the DOH is there, social welfare is there, yung IATF, the Presidential Management Service, DOT. Lahat po ay nagtutulong-tulong kasi nga po wicked problem eh. Hindi lang pong isang solusyon ang available, kundi dapat po ay pagtulong-tulungan at all hands on deck for this initiative. Ang isa pong malaking program po na amin pong pinagtulungan ni Commissioner Belica ay, ewan ko po, alam niyo po itong Muntinlupa Reservation. Napakalaki po palang area niya. And then when we talked ni Commissioner Belica, I told him, sir, meron po tayong area na malaki. Kasi po he was really tired because of responding to yung food security, may mga nagwewelga o para maiwasan yung mga nagwewelga. So we went there, we talked with the Department of Justice, and then ngayon po, meron na po tayong nasimulan doon. Of course, at the same time, reformation na rin po dun sa ating mga inmates doon. Sila po yung nagtatrabaho. And para po, if ever there will come a time na magkaroon na naman ng hard lockdown, at least meron po tayong mabubunot doon. Naka-harvest na po kami ng kaunti doon. At nakakatuwa naman po kasi po, even yung mga Bucor personnel ay naandoon din. They learn something new. Meron na po doon. May mga ducks, native chicken, may mais, may talong. So, nakakatuwa po yung response ng hindi lamang po ng DA, kundi syempre yung PACC din po. Andun din po sila. And of course, yung DOJ. So, just to end, again, yung threat po ng gutom ay napakalapit sa tiyan. Dahil po dito sa COVID na ito nangyari. So parang nagpa-parallel po siya eh. Halos parehas po siya. Okay, meron tayong health concerns. Of course, we also need to have food security or have food secured. And of course, the livelihood po, medyo naapektuhan po siya. Marami po nagsarang businesses, marami pong nawalan ng trabaho. So we needed to go back to basics, and we think that, of course, although minsan hindi po siya ganun ka-efficient or economical, we need to produce our own food to have that kind of security, food always in the home. And we need to be innovative. So yun po yung importansya ng local food, yung pong pag-lessen na rin ng carbon footprints, yun po ay napaka-indirect na po kasi nga po bawas yung pag-travel, bawas yung ano. So ito na po siguro yung new normal, yun nga, yung pag-online ng mga transactions natin. Going next to the real key, I think, is yung collaboration nga po. Hindi po namin makakaya sa government mag-isa. We need organizations like the Rotary Club. We need your support. Your vast network po ay napaka-key. Of course, the people that you have, I think that's the best resource that you have. Kasi po, your organization is an influencer also in the society. So baka po, sa dami po ng Rotary clubs din, syempre around the Philippines, we can help also develop the countryside. Yun nga po, going to the BALIK Probinsya program. On a very particular sector, sa Department of Agriculture, gusto ko lang pong iwanan yung isang message nga na I hope we can make it a habit and engage everyone and make agriculture interesting again. And it's showing po. Dami pong plantitos and plantitas around. Marami pong gustong magtanim at gustong mag-participate. So we thank you. We thank organizations like the Rotary Club for helping us. And we hope that you can continue the support that you have been giving our department. So maraming salamat po, and I think that ends my presentation. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Assistant Director Gerald Glenn, for your time this morning, for supporting the Rotary Club of District 3810. And you really have a very good topic, urban gardening and Balik Probinsya program. So with that, we'd like to give you the certificate of appreciation to the Assistant Director, Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Plant Industry, Mr. Gerald Glenn F. Panganiban, for your invaluable support and recognition to share your time and expertise being our guest of honor and speaker during the community service seminar with topic on urban gardening and Balik Probinsya. Given the full meaning of principal ideals of Rotary International motto, service above self, and its theme, Rotary opens opportunities. Signed, IPP Dalicator, SDG Edwin Chiu, DG Leody Teriela, and DS Catherine Aguilar. Maraming salamat again, Director Glenn, and please stand by for the Q&A portion po natin. So with that, for those that joined late, there's about 166 now in our participants. You can use the Q&A, and we have now, as of now, we have 9 questions in the Q&A. We'd like to, before I turn over for the open forum, we'd like to request the speakers to please respond ng maiksi lang, because we'd like to be conscious of the time, because medyo marami pong katanungan. Alam po natin na marami pong excited na Rotarians, because ang ganda po ng topic natin today, from yung pag-relieve ng stress and taking care of yourself na topic, mental health ni Dr. Eric Tayag, to our children protection na kailangan mag-TikTok, mag-Baby Shark, discussion ni Dr. Naomi, para sa health nutrients ni PP FELY, dun sa ating proper nutrition, yung paano natin handle yung mga gulay, to our urban gardening and Balik Probinsya program. So yan po yung summary bago po natin i-turn over sa open forum para po dun sa mga late na nag-join dun sa webinar. With that, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, fellow Assistant Governor, Cheska Akuin, to handle the open forum. All yours, Ches.
Thank you, Mate MC. Okay, so without further ado, I want to start with questions for Dr. Eric Tayag. The first question is, what are the possible signs and symptoms of children encountering mental health, stress, and anxiety?
Alam mo, sa mga bata, maaaring hindi obvious yung mga signs and symptoms sa stress. Subalit, katulad ng matatanda ay maaaring maihambing natin yung mga bata. Binanggit nga ni Dr. Naomi kanina, kailangan maging observant tayo. Tingnan natin yung kanilang eating habits, sleeping habits. Anumang pagbabago is a sign na baka na-stress na sila. Any small change dun sa routine na hindi natin dating nakikita is already a sign of stress. Thank you. Over.
Thank you, Dr. Eric. A follow-up question, how can the parents help these children?
Alam mo, yung mga magulang ay may sariling stress. So, you should take care of yourself before you can take care of others. Yun ang binanggit ko kanina sa aking presentation. We take care of ourselves first so we can take care of others. Over.
Thank you. So take ourselves first before others. Thank you so much, Dr. Eric. These questions are for CP Dr. Naomi. First question for you, is there any alternative for the suspended programs of care to children? Dr. Naomi? So the question is there any alternative for the suspended programs of care to children?
Answer.
Can't answer. The host.
Okay. Another question is, oh, sorry. Dr. Naomi, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, but the host needs to accept it, so I can go on live stream.
Okay.
You may proceed, Dr. Naomi.
Can you please repeat?
So your first question, is there any alternative for the suspended programs of care to children?
When you say suspended care, meaning those children whose parents or caregivers were away or because of the COVID-19, because you know, rising incidence of mortality would cause some children to be deprived of their caregivers. This is when the other members of the family comes in, like the tito, tita, lolo, and lola. So we have to equip also the other members of the family to care for them, especially during the vulnerable age group, the infants, because they need this sense of security all the time.
Another question for you. Are those unhealthy conditions of mother absorbed by the children can turn into depression someday, or can lead to depression to them, or can cause depression for them? This is a question by PP Rico of RC Manila Cosmopolitan.
Thank you, PP Rico of RC Manila Cosmopolitan. You know, sometimes akala natin, these children, the babies or infants, does not understand how we feel, especially when they can speak yet. But these babies can feel our emotions by our body language, maybe by our heartbeats. There was a study I read across about a 20-year, what happens to children during the Second World War when they were separated from their parents. After 20 years, they followed them up, and those who were isolated from their parents developed coronary artery disease or hypertension or diseases of the heart, compared to those who were not isolated from their parents. So there must be an effect, a long-term effect on these children years later. Long-term effects.
Thank you for that, Dr. Naomi. This is interesting, your third question, because I'm also a teacher and I can relate. Schools now are all in online learning, even in preschool. how much time should the preschool child must stay in their computer, and what would be the most effect for a child who stays most of the time in their gadgets?
If you recall, I posted a slide showing the American Academy of Pediatric guidelines on the number of hours that preschool, that each age group should be allowed. We said that from 0 to 18 months, there should be no screen time at all. But for preschool, it says there that 1 hour per day is enough. But now, because of this pandemic, limiting our movements, we will have a leeway on adding an additional time for that. Maybe this should be under parental supervision, so that we will not be depriving them of their opportunity to learn. Because, you know, children are social animals. They cannot, they may have their siblings at home, but they need their peers to develop certain initiatives in life. Yeah, so an additional screen time for them is allowed, can be allowed.
Okay, so additional, but ideally it's an hour for preschool. Thank you for that, Dr. Naomi. Last question for you, Doctora. What can parents do if their child is experiencing social isolation, especially nowadays that we're in virtual learning, etc.? This is a question by PP Arnold Divina of RC Valenzuela West.
Thank you, PP Arnold Divina, for your question from RC Valenzuela West, our soon-to-be sister club. The effects of social isolation among children could be catastrophic if not identified early on. So you have to have that clinical eye to see, or a parent eye to see that something's wrong with your child. But there are so many ways that you can combat or address this isolation. You can engage in social connection through Zoom, through video chat, or you can teach them a new skill. You can engage them at home, teach them new work at home, like washing the dishes, checking the tires. If they are already school age or teenager, you can tell them how to new skills, or exercise every day. Keep them physically active, join them during this physical activity, and praying helps also. So if you gather your children together and play, so that they will understand that we have an Almighty God who loves us, and whatever happens, He will be there for us.
So to summarize, new experiences, exposing them to new skills would be very helpful in those children who are experiencing social isolation. Thank you so much, Doctora. The following questions are for PP FELY. Your first question is...
Sorry, aalis na daw si Director Glenn will be leaving because of a meeting. Pwedeng unahin daw muna yung questions for our urban planning sa dulo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So, question for you, Mr. Gerald, Mr. Glenn. This is actually my own question, my personal question. What is the most ideal and practical agricultural setup for livelihood in poor communities? Because we're Rotarians and we're looking for ways to, give them livelihood and work. So, what could be the ideal setup in poor communities?
Okay. Ma'am, ang ating pong current po kasing ginagawa is before we establish community gardens, of course, that's our main approach kasi po, community gardens, because if we just do one-on-one, it does have an impact pero mahirap po siyang i-monitor, no? But if we have yung community gardens na halimbawa sa LGUs o partner barangays that we have, it could be containerized gardening, it could be vertical gardening. But it would depend po on the site visit first. So what we do when we partner, for example, Rotary would like to adopt a barangay, for example, what we do is do the site visit first, see ano po yung technology na pwede po doon. Kalimitan po with the barangays here in Metro Manila na yung space ay limited, we do containerized gardening. Ano po? Containerized meaning nakapots. We could use the bottles na recycle, plastic containers na recycle, and then plant the veggies there, yung mga short gestating crops, mga leafy vegetables. But we also have, kung interesado po talaga at talaga pong may magmamanage dun sa area, we can train the people that you can assign or the barangays can assign. We can train them into, ngayon po ang pinakamabilis po talaga if you want really results agad is yung kangkong, plant kangkong. Kasi po if you plant it, you just trim it, it will grow in a week's time and you can have harvest almost every week kung i-schedule lang po. So those short gestating crops, isa po 'yon. And then kung malaki naman po ang area, for example, yung amin pong ginawa doon sa Smoky Mountain po. Meron po kami ngayon doon ini-establish. Marami na po silang nakatanim doon na conventional gardening naman, meaning they have soil there already, may space po sila. So what we do is train them, ano ba ang dapat na orientation ng mga plots, ano ba ang dapat gawin to manage the crops, ano ba ang pwede nating gamitin para mas maganda ang kanyang tubo, mga ganun po. So, meron din pong nagtanong, sagutin ko na rin po yung sa composting. We also do like that kasi po from the start, kasi we need soil. Kung wala tayong soil o kung yung soil natin ay hindi nutritious, we train them to do composting para po ma-enrich yung soil. We teach them kung ano po yung tamang pagtatanim, tamang pagmamanage, hanggang po sa maka-harvest, kung ano po yung mga maturity index para po alam nila kung kailan anuhin. So not only just giving the seeds and seedlings, but we also train them technically. Of course, hindi po natin mapapalitan yung schooling, pero po yung as much as possible kung ano po yung pinaka simple na matutunan at effective matutunan, because what we want is encourage them kasi po it's easy to lose interest kung hindi po tayo makapagpatuto. So yung mga ganun po siguro, the simple things na ma-prove yung concept na on urban agriculture or urban gardening can work muna. And then for the livelihood component, ano po yun? Meron naman po tayong partner agencies, meron po tayo even with the DA, yung agribusiness and marketing service po ng DA, to connect kung halimbawa po maganda na po yung kanilang produce. So, yun po.
Thank you so much, Mr. Glenn, for that. So just to wrap up, you have to consider the site, to survey it first, and then consider training of the people in the community. And
yes,
just, before you go, because there's been a lot of questions coming in regarding free seedlings. Maybe you can take this time to tell the participants as a whole about how.
Okay. For the free seedlings, you can first walk in sa aming office. Ang aming pong opisina ay nasa may Quirino Avenue Station ng LRT. Yun po yung landmark. Malapit po siya doon. Yung 692 San Andres Street sa Malate, Manila. And then the other one is in Quezon City, sa may Visayas Avenue lang po, doon sa may Elliptical Road. Mag-walk-in lang po tayo. Pero mas maganda po kung gusto po ninyo para makasigurado kayo na may available. Kasi po talaga pong ubusan Parang hotcake ang mga seeds and seedlings ngayon You can check our website and our Facebook page. Pakihanap lang po, Bureau of Plant Industry. Meron naman po doong official website. So, mag-message lang po kayo doon. Naandun din pong aming mga telephone number. Sorry po. At hindi ko sa ulado lahat. Pero kung mag-i-email naman po kayo, I think itinipe ko na rin po dito sa ating comment dito sa chat box natin po dito. Pero kung hindi po ninyo nakuha, paki-email lang po bpi.directorsoffice@yahoo.com. Ayun po.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Glenn. So just to reiterate, it's bpi.directorsoffice@yahoo.com.
Yes po.
Thank you so much,
Tama
Mr.
po.
Okay, so moving forward to our next question. This is for PT FELY. So your first question, PT FELY, is how much amount of food should we consume to meet the desired vitamins? Because me, I'm into fitness. I always consider protein. But what about vitamins? How much do we need to consume? PT FELY, kindly unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, PT FELY.
Okay. So it depends upon what vitamins ang kailangan mo. But the recommendation of the Pinggang Pinoy, yan po ay for all na yan. General na yan kasi as long as you are eating a balanced diet, you have protein, you have vegetables and fruits, tsaka meron kang carbohydrates, o ano na po yan, balanced diet na yon, because there's no single food that contains all the nutrients that our body needs. So, an example, for vitamin C, if you need a lot of vitamin C, the best and the richest source of vitamin C is none other than guava. 2 medium size of guava, especially if the seed is pink, you get already your daily recommended amount of 70 milligrams per day. Papaya, 1 slice from a big fruit. If it is orange, 1 closed fist. This size, hindi yung malaki. So, yun po ang ano. So, makain ka na ng tama yung kalahati. The reason why dinagdagan namin yun, talagang ang ating pong problema, nutritional deficiency in the Filipino diet is micronutrient. We lack vitamins and minerals. Kaya tinuturuan namin ngayon na dagdagan na ang ano. And this is also based on the recommendation of the WHO.
Thank you so much, PT FELY. And these facts are available on Pinoy Kawali. Is that the correct website where we can refer?
No. FNRI DOST.
DOA. Okay.
DOST.
DOST for the complete facts about nutrition.
Yeah, we have website FNRI@DOST. FNRI@DOST.
FNRI@DOST. Okay, thank you for that information. Another question for you, PT FELY. This is just to just piggyback on what you said. It says here, the allowed meal for 19 to 59 years old, whether male or female, is the same as for 65 years old and above. Is that true?
No, it's different. Because maybe what you notice is the ulam, the fish. Pare-pareho silang 2 pieces. 2 pieces of fish.
Okay.
In terms of carbohydrates, ano, iba po. So, ang importante yung ano, yung proportion. So, ginawa lang namin po yan, in general na yan. At saka yung Pinggang Pinoy is not intended for sick people, those with special disease condition. This is intended or recommended for healthy individuals.
Okay, thank you so much for emphasizing on that, TT Feli. Actually, the next questions are all about food restrictions for those with ailments. So just to clarify, the ones that TT Feli presented a while ago is for those who are healthy people without complications.
I'd like to, excuse me, about the last question on the immune system of, for a person with psoriasis.
Yes.
Depende po yan. Actually, meron akong study for psoriasis. The best is BCO, virgin coconut oil. Unless meron siyang other allergic reaction sa ibang pagkain. Pero ang pinakamagandang gamot is virgin coconut oil. That was studied by Dr. Beralio.
Thank you, TT Feli, for mentioning that. And nowadays, VCO is actually hype because of the pandemic. And VCO.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. And then one last question for you, Tita Feli. This is about water used for boiling beans. So it goes, you mentioned a while ago that we should not soak beans in water before cooking. My question is, what if the water we use to soak the beans, of course after washing, is also the water we'll use for boiling the beans in cooking? Is that still good in retaining the vitamin D contained in the beans?
That's okay, but not overnight. Not soaking it overnight. The usual practice of mothers, they soak the beans overnight and then they wash it again and then add water. If you're going to use the soaking water, that's okay. And you do not over cook. Only 10 minutes of boiling, brisk boiling, so that the vitamin B will not be destroyed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Feli. Yes, please.
I'd like to give an information on how to sanitize vegetables and fruits. You do not use salted water. You do not also use baking soda, because baking soda destroys the vitamins, the B vitamins. Salt, it leaches the nutrients from the skin of food. The procedure that I'd like to share is, once you have bought your vegetables and fruits, the first thing is wash the whole fruit and vegetables. Whole. Buo pa, nasa tangkay pa, may balat pa. Once or twice. Then, get a basin of water. The formula is 1 liter water, add 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Any vinegar. And soak it there for 3 to 5 minutes with brushing. You have to brush your fruits and vegetables to remove the soil and other elements. So that's the best. Some people, they even squish their ampalaya in salt and then wash it many times. So you are removing already the vitamins. Wala na. Ano na lang, tubig na lang kakainin mo at saka fiber.
Mm-hmm. So just to...
Maganda. Na-proof na namin yun na yun ang pinakamagandang method to sanitize your food.
Thank you for that, Titi Feli. I learned a lot from you. Titi Feli, there's one more question from the attendees. What advice can you give to a person who is battling the after effect of total thyroidectomy? What kind of food to take and avoid for hypocalcemia and hypothyroidism? Or is there a site where we can access?
Yes, it will take us a long time, no? So I suggest that you consult a dietitian in the hospital. No? But after thyroidectomy, well, the recommendation is soft diet.
Mhm. Okay. Again, once again, thank you so much, PP Fely. We can entertain two last questions from the attendees. The first one is for Dr. Eric Tayag. It says here, pag sinabi po bang vitamin B12 or when we take vitamin D, kasama na po ba ang B in one dosage? Or magkaiba po yun?
Magkaiba. Magkaiba yun. Can you repeat the question?
Pag sinabi po bang vitamin D?
Oo, kasi AG Cheska, kasi yung topic ko, mental health. Oo. Baka nalito yung nagtatanong. Nandyan si PP Fely. Pasa natin sa kanya.
Oh, that's true.
Thank you.
Thank you, PP Tayag. Yeah, Dr. Eric Tayag. So just to clarify, magkaiba po yun. And then one last question. This is for Dr. Naomi. Dr. Naomi, are you still here? Last question for you. What if we are guilty or violated all the activities with the kids, like allowing them in using a cell phone for a long period of time, bilang panlibang para di mangulit?
Hi. Actually, that is the common alibi of parents in the clinic. Pag umiyak yung anak, binibigyan ng cellphone para gawing yaya yung cellphone. If you want really to be strict about it and so that there will be no long-term effects of these gadgets to your children, please observe what are the recommendations of the experts. So these experts who made these guidelines did a study on what are the effects of these gadgets to children if they're left with this for a long period of time. So to tita, tito, or mommies out there, observe the length of screen time for your children.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Naomi. So that ends our Q&A portion. I'm turning back the virtual space to our MC, Mate MC.
Thank you so much, AG Cheska. Wonderful job. It's very difficult. Ang daming pa pong questions na nasa Q&A box. Hindi po na natin, in the interest of time, because we're already over time. So we will have to defer it, and then maybe our host club, Rotary Club of Ermita, can consolidate all the other questions para po sa ating mga speakers dahil napakadami pong katanungan because it's a very interesting topic. We still have 140 participants. Thank you so much, Champion AG Cheska, for handling the Q&A. And with that, would like again to thank all our participants. Napakagaling po ng ating distrito. I'm very, very proud to be part of this district because we are very blessed to have all these resource speakers from Rotary Club of Manila, Dr. Eric Tayag, Padre Burgos, Dr. Naomi Licuanan, and Dr. Fely, PP Fely Belandria from Lubang Island. Napakadami po nilang resources at shinare po sa atin ngayon, and they're all members of our district. And with that, I'd like to turn it over for the closing remark to our host club who worked hard for this district community service webinar. Hand it to you, back to you, TP Narciso Montilla Jr.
Thank you, MC. So before I give my closing remarks, there's a surprise one. So we want to award the certificates of appreciations to our technical guys, yes, for working hard also. First, let me share you. SDG Noel Bilardo from RC Pasay Ilustrado for sharing your time and expertise which contributed to the successful undertakings of the community service seminar with the theme Live Well, Serve Well, giving the full meaning of the principal ideals of Rotary International motto, Service Above Self, and its theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities, given this 5th day of September 2020 via Zoom webinar hosted by the RC Ermita Manila. Signed, IPP Dalik Cater, the Community Service Chair, SDG Edwin Seymour Chu, the Senior Deputy Governor Programs, DP Leody Tariela, the District Governor, and DS Catherine Aguilar, District Secretary. Also to IPP, Michelle Casio from RC Manila Metro for sharing your time and expertise which contributed to the successful undertakings and community service with the theme Live Well, Serve Well, same signatories, as well to IPP, Cheska Akuin from RC Manila Magic, and last but not the least, TP Andex, Dexter Ortega of RC Manila Magic, and the last one, Rotarian Raymark Rajuli from the RC Manila Magic. Thank you po sa inyong hard working to make this webinar successful. Okay, so let me proceed with my closing remarks. Good afternoon. It's already 12:15, so thank you for our speakers, especially the great presidents, no? And to our fellow Rotarians, partners of service and friends of Rotary, it has been a pleasure being with you today. I would like to thank our speakers. We had an amazing lineup. Thank you for taking time out of your busy personal, professional, and Rotary schedules and join us in this annual District Community Service Seminar. Now it's a webinar. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Ermita Manila, host club of this webinar, I thank the district team headed by our vibrant and energetic transformational governor, Odi Tariela, my classmates, the transformational presidents, and your members for the support and active participation. To this webinar's technical support group, you guys are amazing. Maraming salamat po. Hope we all have learned something relevant today. Let's continue our mantra. Live well, serve well. Rotary continues to community service amidst the pandemic. Mabuhay ang Rotary. At salamat po.
Salamat. Thank you so much, our Transformation President, Narciso Nar Montilla Jr., for your closing remark, and for the Rotary Club of Ermita Manila for hosting. Before I hand it over for the adjournment, after the adjournment, we will have very quick photo ops on all the frames. So please turn on your videos later for all the participants who are still here, 139 of you, so we can have a photo ops as a souvenir for this. With that, we'd like to hand it over to our District Governor, Gov. Odi Tariela, for the adjournment.
Thank you so much. In behalf of the Rotary International District 3810, before I adjourn this community service seminar, I would like also to express my gratitude to our host club, the Rotary Club of Ermita, for hosting this event. And of course, to our great speakers for their wonderful, comprehensive, informative presentations. And to our programs committee, headed by Senior Deputy Governor Edwin Chu, and to our technical working group, SDG Noel, to our host, to our beautiful hosts, our AG Assistant Governors, Michelle Casio and Assistant Governor Cheska, of course, to my transformational President Dexter Ortega, to Rotarian Raymark, and to all of you who attended this seminar, maraming salamat po. So by the power of the Rotary International and the District 3810 vested in me, I hereby declare this meeting adjourned.
Thank you so much, Gov. Odi. So to all the participants who are still here, turn on your video, please, so we can have a photo. Pwede ba yun, our tech team, Dex, so we can all see.
Yeah. Only the panelists can open their camera. Unfortunately, for all attendees, since this is a webinar, they cannot have their camera on. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sorry to our participants. So sige, panelists na lang ang
Thank you to all attendees. Thank you to the team.
Thank you po sa mga great presidents and also the transformation.
Sa lahat. Congratulations, FD. Yay! Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yun. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you, SDG Edwin.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Gob.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, TPNR.
Sige. Luto na tayong tanghalian.
Babay na. Gutom na.
Kainan na.
Kainan na. Maraming salamat mga great presidents. It was a very great presentation. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, SDG Edwin.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ano kay
Thank you
SDG
very much.
Edwin and the
We
technical
have
groups.
more webinars to come.
Yes,
Salamat
Dex.
po.
Every other Saturday until November.
Ilang na magagawa.
Hoping for your support. Yeah, una pa lang to, pero magandang buena mano. Okay to.
Opo. Yes po.
Ha? Hindi kami nagsobrahan sa time?
Okay lang po.
Okay lang. Well, lumagpas tayo ng konti, but it's manageable. It's fine. It's okay.
Kasi very interesting yung topic. Hindi sila bibitaw. Wala talagang bumitaw. So, it was still a solid 145 something until the last speaker. So, that's a good one. A very...
Yeah. Oh.
Lord, because I was told, diba you told us that we're only given 15 to 20 minutes only. When I finished my talk, sabi ng mga kasama ko rito, 35 minutes daw ata. Sabi ko, naku, patay. Baka mamaya nawala sa oras. Pero okay.
Interesting kasi. Interesting kasi kaya walang bumitaw.
It's okay. It's okay.
Ano uulitin, SDG Edwin?
Ulitin ulit. Gutom
Ulitin
na.
ulit.
Kain na tayo.
Yung next vocational service na. Vocational
Okay.
service na next.
Thank you po.
Sige, tulong-tulong lang po tayo.
Opo. TPDEX, lalo kay TPDEX, no? So very technical one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much po.
Yes, Doktora. Huh?
Let's have a group picture.
Group picture? Oh, sure. Group picture. Sige.
Okay.
Mate. Mate Nar, ikaw na lang. Tsaka mate Pe.
Sige. Ready? Hold on. 1, 2, and 3. Yes. Save ko lang. And
SDG.
yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. So
This webinar so well.
that's true.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All details have to be taken into consideration. I really big gratitude to the technical team. Most
Grabe, grabe ang ano nila po.
By the way, SDG, my swab is
Ma'am Joy.
SDG.
Ma'am Joy. SDG Joy. What's this? AdSec Joy.
Ang kaso lang yan eh, kasi bigla eh.
Only quarantine.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat.
Salamat, Tipinar. Thank you, thank you. Right, thank you. Thank you, Tipidex. Thank you, Rotarian Raymark.
Kada, maraming salamat po.
Sige.
FELY. Thank you, SDG.
Dr. Naomi. Yes, very much. Thank you.
FELY, thank you. Thank you.
Mama Ricon, are you there?
Wala na.
Sige.
Hindi na nagsalita.
Nagutom na eh.
I'm here, I'm here.
Nandyan pa pala. Salamat po, Pipi. Mate Feli.
Maraming salamat po sa lahat.
Salamat.
Job. Well job. Job well done.
Marami ka ng picture,
Kumain na
wait
siguro
na.
sila. Nako, 101.
Ang picture?
Mabubugbog naman itong Facebook. I'm still recording nga pala, so i-off ko na. Okay.
Oo nga pala.
So it's all saved. It's all saved. Nakapag-record ka? Na-record ko eh.
Ito nga, naka-record pa